Hey everybody being me. What's up? I am just me. Welcome to the live. How's everyone doing today? I am late. What is this, my third day on the job? There was traffic on the way to work, so you know, I'm here 8 minutes late. Don't dock my pay. I have been historically in the closet. Hey everybody, thank you for joining. I'm historically in the closet, even though this is my third live, but I told my husband I am going to fold the laundry today. And I'm also doing laundry. Started yesterday, still doing laundry, always doing laundry. I found an old video of mine that there was laundry in the video. Like, this was from 2019 because I found an old profile and I was deleting the videos off of it, and I was watching one of the videos, and at the end of the video I said, at least the laundry's folded. Welcome, how are you? I don't want to butcher your name, but I want to say hello and welcome to everybody. Welcome to my Life as a Classroom. I am here Monday through Saturday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Welcome everyone. And I'm just, you know, I just got on, so giving people an opportunity to get in before I just start with the spill, because the spill is valuable, you know? So the ramble is valuable too. So let's get together, join the community. If you're not already following, my name is Lonee Appleton. I am a healthy family advocate. Welcome. My content is all about healing the family, all about healing relationships. Welcome, Kimberly. My content is all about healing parent-child dynamics. So all the things that we're struggling with within our homes. Welcome. How are you, Kimberly? What are you up to this fine Monday? Are you a Monday person or a Friday person? I am a everyday person, but I used to be a Friday person. And so today I am folding laundry because my husband said he'll believe I'll fold the laundry. Oh, my cousin loves Monday. She says, happy new beginnings or happy new week, because she feels that Mondays shouldn't be something that people should dread. Mondays are the beginning of new possibilities. So my cousin loves Mondays as well. I'm everyday kind of person, but I used to live for Fridays. But Fridays, just because I don't have to wake up and set an alarm. I'm supposed to be at, this is my job now, I'm supposed to be at work at 12. I got here at 12:08, so I hope the boss understands. Do I have to be with the kids all weekend? Man, those kids, and that's what my content is all about. My content is all about learning and growing and understanding with our children, learning how to, you know, navigate that, and how to navigate being with our spouses. I remember I heard some joke or whatever, some guy was saying they go and welcome everybody. They go and walk around the Walmart before they go home because they don't want to go home. Like, at the time I was like, damn, I understand that, but that's so sad that you don't want to go to the space that you created that should be your safe space, that should be your sanctuary. But for some reason, the people that you have chosen and the people that you have raised to be in that space are people you don't want to be around. And we have never stopped and thought, why is that? It's crazy how much my oldest has taught me about. Boom, let's get into that. I'm gonna try to fold laundry and talk at the same time. I love home. It just feels out of order lately. Yeah, I think that's something, and that's universal energy. That's something that I want to talk about today, but I wanted to touch on how much my oldest has taught me about myself and how our children are truly our classrooms. Welcome. Tempest, welcome everyone. If I could read your names, I will say them, but if I don't, it's no disrespect. It's just I don't want to butcher it. And I feel like if I say someone's name wrong, I'm disrespecting them, even though we all know it's not a form of disrespect. But I think because people said my name wrong so much and I received it as disrespect, that I don't like to mess up other people's names. But I mean no disrespect. Welcome. Love is power. Yes, it is. That is a beautiful message to teach. But our children, something I noticed about my kids, I have 4 birth children, 2 stepchildren. Of my kids, what I learned from them, I'm gonna try not to fold underwear in front of you guys. Something that I learned from my kids is they're all just versions of me, many versions of me. So since I have 4 children, I have splintered myself off 4 ways. And so when I'm looking at my kids and I'm like, I don't understand what the heck is going on, it's either because of, it's an inherited characteristic from me, an inherited characteristic from their father, or it's something that they learned from being out here in these streets. So with that understanding that my children are just versions of my personality, instead of being challenged by them, instead of being frustrated by them, like, I don't even understand, I can do some self-reflecting and know that my children are my mirror. So Kimberly, yes, my oldest, she's the one that sparked what you see today as the Appletons and as the Appletons. She's the one that sparked all of that, because for years she was like, the way that you talk to the kids is messed up. The way that you're raising the kids is messed up. Blah, 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 blah. None of this makes sense. And I was like, well, I understand it doesn't make sense, but I don't know what else to do, because this is the way that I was raised and I'm doing better than my parents did. And a lot of us stand behind, I'm doing better than my parents did. And we are. But is a better version of trauma better? And so that's what I'm coming to the realization here, and I'm doing it live in front of you guys. And the reason why I record our real life and our real conversation is because how are we going to heal ourselves through simulation? You know what I'm saying? We're sitting here and we're watching these father-son talks on the Cosby Show, and we're watching these father-son talks or mother-daughter talks on, you know, insert TV here. But we're watching all these talks and they're fabricated. How is a fabrication going to move us, especially if the identity that we have created for ourselves is based off of our real lives? You know what I'm saying? Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. Z, I can't read the rest of it because I don't want to destroy it, but welcome. Stay, enjoy, join the conversation. I'm going to read the comments when I'm available to, but the way that my lives pretty much work is I just ramble until the ramble runs out, and then I read the comments, and then I start rambling again. But in those rambles, my life is a classroom. So in those rambles, I'm spitting hot fire. So whenever I consider it hot fire. Dylon. I spit hot fire. You know, so depending on when you hop in, whether you hop in for a second or you hop in for the full 3 hours or however long I'm on this horn, whatever you heard in that time is something for you. You were guided to this live for whatever reason. And if you choose to stay, definitely internalize whatever you receive. Welcome, everybody. My name is Lonee Appleton. And we are talking about how our children are not our first teachers, but we are our children's, this doesn't get folded. We are our children's first teachers. So if we're sitting here and we're waiting for the school system to teach our children, or we're sitting here and we're waiting for, somebody else to do it, get somebody else to do it right, then we are missing an opportunity to really send our legacy out into the world. So yes, my oldest daughter, she got me put together quite well. And she continues to get me put together quite well. If you are not a part of the community, please consider following and definitely get to know my family. And hopefully in my family, you'll see a little bit of your family and we can all grow together, because that's what this page or channel or content is all about. Welcome, welcome, Tawana. Welcome, welcome. So let's talk miles. Yesterday was Sunday. I'm trying not to work 7 days a week, so I take Sundays off. I'm trying not to feel the pressure of having to talk every second and entertain you. I got my top hat. Hey, Harvey. I got my top hat and I'm entertaining you guys. I've actually been researching, and I see how people run their lives, and they're just living their life. Thank you for the love. And they're just living their life. So I'm just going to live my life, and I'm going to remove the pressure from myself to constantly keeping a flow. Hey, Kiki. Hey, Kiki. I was going to say KK. Sis can't see, so I had to get in close and see it's an E instead of an A. Welcome, welcome, guys. I wanted to finish the Miles story that I started on Saturday, but of course I got distracted and I didn't finish it. And I feel a story is a good way to allow people to come in. Thank you for the love. To allow people to come in, decide if this is something they want to vibe with for a few minutes or a few hours, because I'm here for a few hours and I love the company. But let's go with Miles. The reason why I was telling the Miles story, I don't know. He was one of my many fiancés. Welcome, Carby. I've seen you. And let me see. Lots of people. Welcome, welcome. Someone told me that people just scroll, so that's why the numbers fluctuate. I'm learning. I don't know much about lives, but I'm going to sit and talk really quick so I can focus. So Miles, he is one of my many fiancés. I've been engaged 3 times. I've been married once. And the reason why I'm stopping and thinking, because I know I've been proposed to, or I've talked about marriage, but only been proposed to a certain number of times. So sometimes that number changes, either 2 or 3 in one actual marriage, or 1 or 2 in one actual marriage. I get caught up on numbers and semantics because I never want to be perceived as not telling the truth. And so because I'm a truth teller, you'll notice I'll stop and really get hung up on the details. Welcome. I'll get hung up on the details, even though the details don't matter, right? They do, but they don't. 2, 3, who cares? But there's one person out there who'd be like, the last time you told this story, you said 2. And this time you're telling the story, now you're saying 3. You're a liar. No, I just don't remember exact details a decade later. And that's okay. It's okay to not remember everything, because if someone is listening to you, or someone's reading your book, or someone's experiencing time with you and they're looking for something to fault you over, you already messing and talking with the wrong person anyway. Wow, I've never been close to even a proposal. That just means that you are very picky and you are selective of who you allow into your space. So be thankful for that, because everyone who has proposed to me, I want to say 2 of those proposals happened within 30 days. What's that tell you? That means that they was looking for something and I was looking for something. And if we would have got together, we would have been into something, and I would be divorced at least twice. So I didn't get married until I was 36. So don't look at boyfriends. I've only had 2 boyfriends, and both of those relationships were traumatic and messed up. And then the proposals, like, I only had 2 boyfriends, but of those 2 boyfriends, one of those was a proposal, which means that 2 of those additional proposals, let's digest this, Kimberly. 2 of those proposals were people that I do not consider were my boyfriends. So I've been proposed to by men that I don't even consider have been in boyfriends. So you're winning because you have standards. I did not in my day, but I have them now because I met a man who helped me elevate my standards, which is my current husband, which is the person that my soul said, okay, this is the one. All those other guys were like, you're the one. Whatever. My soul said for my husband, this is the one. Either that or a lot of wasted time. But it's good, because just like my life is a classroom, your life is a classroom. So it wasn't wasted time if you're not learning. I was talking to my daughter about her friendships, and I was just like, instead of looking at those friendships like they didn't give you what you needed, look at those friendships as classrooms. All of those people who mistreated you, all of those people who didn't give you what you needed out of those relationships, all of those people who, when you communicated to them what you needed and they still chose not to give you what you need, those were all learning opportunities if you chose to receive that. And then now your next friendship or your next relationship, you don't experience that. See, that's where we mess up as parents. I'm always go back to the parents. I don't care how old you are. If you don't know how to do something, I'm rooting it back to your upbringing, because you were not exposed to something that would have prevented you from experiencing this. And it doesn't matter if you experience it at 18, and it doesn't matter if you experience it at 42. The fact is, no one prepared you for it. And I get it, because my oldest daughter comes to me all the time and she's just like, how come you didn't tell me about this? I was like, sis, how was I supposed to know about the bump in the road until the bump in the road showed up? You know, I can't forewarn you about everything because I don't know what you're going to interact with. Welcome to Haria. I'm just going to say welcome, friend. And I'm sorry if I said your name incorrectly. So, you know, I get that we can't prepare our children for everything, but that's why it's important to become a friend to your child, because when you're a friend to your child, no, you did not prepare your child for everything because they did not encounter everything in their childhood. But guess what? In their adult life, they can still come back to you and say, hey, this is what I'm encountering. My daughter's 18, and yes, she's a fresh 18, but my daughter's 18. When I turned 18 in April. I graduated in May on Thursday, and on Saturday I moved out and I never looked back. So every issue that I came across, I asked my dumbass peers for advice, and I watched TV. I never went back to my elders. I never went back to the individual who tasked himself with raising me the last 4 years of my life and asked any questions. To this day, I do not go back to any of them and ask them how to navigate life. I will sooner ask you all how to navigate life than to go and ask anyone in my family or any of the elders. And that's just saying that my elders never stepped up as knowledge sharers for me. And so that's why I do what I do, because everybody doesn't have someone that they can go and ask questions of, and the people that they do ask questions of don't know either. And I'm not saying that I know everything, but I know some stuff, and so I share it. So that's why my life is a classroom, because I've lived a lot of life. I'm still living life, and I could derive meaning from it, and I can find lessons from it, and I can share with you guys. So when my daughter came to me and she was just like, you know, all these relationships, all these guys, all these different things. Well, first of all, dear, you're not supposed to be encountering these situations because you're aware. You already know. When my daughter was 14 years old, she got a job at the barber shop. When my daughter got the job at the barber shop, and those of you who aren't familiar with my content, I go on what I refer to as the Lonee Roller Coaster. So that means I may start in point A and end up in Z, and we don't know how we got there, but damn it, there was knowledge and information, and it was a fun time along the ride. So welcome everybody, and I hope you join the community. My daughter had a job at the barbershop when she was 14 because my husband's a barber. Check him out, Dre Cuts. Yeah, if you're in Arizona, on Booksy. Anyway, my daughter had a job as a sweeper in the barbershop, and when she got that job, I was like, kid, you're about to be around every ideology of men, black men, that you can be around. You're going to come across the dogs, you're going to come across the cats, you're going to come across the good ones, you're going to come across the bad ones, you're going to come across every type of mental space, because men, they gonna talk in the barber shop, right? So you're gonna come across that. So while you're sweeping up this hair, I want you to soak up game. So while all these other sweepers are walking around listening for gossip and trying to be grown, being little boys in grown men's business, I was like, yeah, you be in their business too, daughter. But while you're in their business, I want you to see how their mind works. That way, when you become of the age where you start looking for relationships and joining with people, you can recognize it immediately. Why? Because the way this little boy is talking to you is exactly how that ain't ass in the barbershop was talking while he was getting his hair cut. So we can't look at anything that we interact with or we encounter in life, even if you just click on this live for a split second and hear what I said in that split second. Don't take it for granted. Use it. And welcome. Thank you for joining. Use whatever it is that you're encountering to empower you. So all of those relationships, they weren't wasted time. They were classrooms. And now you can elevate yourself because you allowed yourself to experience something that you now know you don't deserve, right? Thank you for the love. You now know that you didn't deserve that, but you didn't know prior to. Nobody's fault. It was a classroom and an experience you didn't know. Your parents didn't prepare you for it. How are they going to prepare you for it when most parents don't talk about sex? Most parents don't talk about relationships. And most of our parents have failed relationships that we're observing. And then the functional relationships that we do see on TV are dysfunctional as we ain't seen a Cosby show since a Cosby show. And they trying to tear that man down. Now, I don't know who Bill Cosby is in his independent time. If they said he did it, he did it. But what I'm saying is we are so multifaceted, right? I have a baby sleeping here. We are so multifaceted. There's so many sides of us. And the problem with us in society is if somebody does one thing well, we hold them up at such high esteem. We're just like, they do this one thing well, they must have life figured out. No, they just do this one thing well. So while Bill Cosby was telling them jokes, while R. Kelly was writing them songs, and we were like, oh my gosh. Behind the scenes, the things that we weren't seeing was that their lives were terribly destroyed and fucked up and traumatic, and they were passing trauma on to other people. Now, eventually it's coming out, and we're all learning about it, but everybody doesn't have everything together, and that's okay. So when we're out here and we're getting into these relationships and we don't really know, because where have we seen a successful relationship? Where? Where have we seen a relationship that we want to emulate? And we think just because someone's been married for a long time that is a success. My grandparents got married in the year I was born, which means they've been married for 42 years. In our society, we call that a win. In those 42 years, my grandparents have lived in separate houses. In those 42 years, my grandparents have had separate spouses outside of themselves. In those 42 years, my grandparents now live in the same house because, damn it, they're old as fuck and they need some help. In those 42 years, even though they live in the same house, they sleep in separate bedrooms. So please stop counting years married as a success. Marriage is a wonderful experience, and I had no idea. Because whenever you meet someone, of course, it's wonderful. Oh, no, we have no problems. Why? Because you don't let the outside world know what's going on inside of your relationship. And I respect that. But where are we ever going to heal? Because if we're constantly masking and pretending that we're not experiencing what we're experiencing in our lives, then we can never get the information to know what we're experiencing is not commonplace, is not healthy, is not normal. If you grew up in domestic violence and then you enter into a space of domestic violence, you think that's normal, but you keep it to yourself because you don't want other people to know about what's going on in your relationship. But the day that you talk about what's going on in your relationship and someone says, baby, love shouldn't hurt. And because you said something about what's going on in your relationship, now you can correct it. Now, that's an extreme of something that's happening in relationships. But, you know, there's a lot of things that are happening in relationships and we're just freaking miserable. And I don't think we should be. I'm not miserable, but I thought misery was relationships, because when you get to talking to people, you get a few drinks in them and they go from, oh, my husband is so wonderful, because having the husband is the goal. It's not the goal. Having the husband is the goal. And so we're automatically jealous of the next woman because she has a man and we don't have one. But every man ain't worth being jealous over. Every relationship ain't worth. Welcome everybody into the live. My life is a classroom. Sit down and enjoy. Every relationship isn't worth your envy. No relationship is worth your envy. Caveat. Every relationship is not happy. And happiness is subjective. But the reason why happiness is subjective is because you have to find your happiness. You have to be with someone who is willing to make you happy. And so in order for someone to be willing to make you happy, there's two things that are necessary. The first thing that's necessary is their willingness to make you happy. The second thing that's necessary is their willingness to listen to you so you can tell them what makes you happy. That's where we're running into some issues. That's where I ran into issues with my husband, because my husband was the first person to truly love me. My husband taught me how to love myself. And like I told Kimberly earlier, I just got married at 36. I'm not 36 anymore, but I went 36 years in crappy ass relationships, being mistreated by people, getting dogged out by people, sucking on wang wangs that taste like vagina, all the disrespect. And I can admit that because I know I'm not the only one who a man has left another woman's house and came over your house. And when you went down on him, you're like, either you have vagina flavored soap or you are leaving another woman's house and coming to mine. And the kicker is, I didn't stop messing with that guy because I was so thirsty. It's like when I was watching that, what's her name? Danae Jackson, Dear Future Wifey interview on, that's what the interview is, Dear Future Wifey. On the Dear Future Wifey podcast, it was Danae Jackson. I was watching her interview and she was saying her husband, Derek Jackson, the relationship guy, these don't get folded. The relationship guy, he was sleeping with, and this number may be inaccurate, but he was sleeping with 4 or 5 chicks at the same time. She said they were literally passing each other, as one was ending her shift and another one was starting her shift. She said that's what it was like. And she said when he proposed to her, she felt like she won. She felt like out of all the girls that Derek was screwing, she was the one that he was choosing. So she felt honored. And we really got to stop leaving our daughters out here believing that marriage is the prize. No, sis, you are the prize. You, which means you only receive and accept into your life what you feel you deserve. Now, back to what I was saying before. We may not know what we deserve because we haven't experienced anything. Our parents aren't talking to us because we're children, so we're not going to have those conversations about what relationships should look like. And our parents may have never had a successful relationship, so how can they talk to us about relationships? Welcome, everybody. I hope you stay. We are talking about relationships presently. So if our parents can't advise us of what a successful relationship looks like, even if our parents are married, and we're looking at them and it's very apparent they're only together because they have kids. It's very apparent dad is dogging mom out, mom is dogging dad out, whatever the gender is that's going on in your house that your parents are, they're not treating each other well. So even though you do have 2 parents in your home, this is not what you want to model your future relationship after. But how do you model it? You don't know until you get out there and you start experiencing things. What I encourage you to do is stop looking for the one. Be friends first. Keep your little coochie to yourself. Keep your little wang wang to yourself and just be friends, because a successful relationship is going to be based on commonalities. It's going to be based on what you guys have in common, because if all you have in common is good sex and then Lord forbid you pop a baby, now you're stuck. Or you're a single parent. So let the relationship be a friendship and let him earn or let her earn your body, because our boys and our men do not have any value on their genitalia. They are passing that thing around like a free lunch and anybody can get it. I watched the interview before this, Lord Jesus, and I don't remember what it's called, but it says some things, and I'm going to get into it. Let me read these comments. Not to do by watching family. Yeah, you learn not to do by watching family. I grew up in a family full of drug addicts. Everybody was a drug addict. I'm an 80s baby, so hey, from what I hear, I think drugs are still a thing. But they hit hard in the 80s, and I watched everybody around me and my cousins. All of us had a parent that was strung out. And this ain't me talking trash. This is me proving the point that you just made. I will watch them, and I had a decision to make. I was like, am I going to do what they're doing? And I just thought about how their choices impacted me. You're sitting there spending all your money on drugs, and now I'm hungry. You're sitting there spending all your money on drugs, and now I don't have any clothes. You're spending all your money on drugs, and you're out there searching for your next high, so you're dropping me off at random places, and you're not picking me up till 1-2 weeks later. And I'm sitting here looking at these people, and they're looking at me, and they're like, where the fuck your parents at? And I'm like, I'm wondering the same thing. I can't tell you how many people indirectly raised me just because my parents were off searching for their next high. And so that was what I learned. I'm not going to do that. I don't know how to be a parent because no one raised me, but I'm not going to do that. But I also have cousins who also grew up in the dysfunction of, the crack epidemic, and they chose to hop right in, level up to meth, and here we are. My mom married a divorced my dad twice. Oh, so they probably had something going, but they didn't know how to work it out. And that's something that I talk about. Me and my husband are soulmates. And what I've discovered is because me and my husband are going through an evolution right now. Those of you who have been rocking with me since December, you have seen how me personally, because my husband is just now being open to being on the camera all the time. He's been okay with me talking about what we have going on, but now he's in the space where he's okay to be recorded. So then I don't have to run back and tell y'all, tell that, right? And so those of you who have been rocking since December, you have seen me change physically. You have seen me change mentally. You have seen me change spiritually. You have seen me completely shift in front of your eyes, which is really cool because I didn't even know that this evolution was taking place. So the fact that it's documented is really cool for my history, but it's also really cool for your history because you're able to watch the evolution take place in front of your eyes. And the reason why that's cool for you is because you're like, if Lonnie can do it, I can do it. And so what potentially happened with your mom and dad, and this is what would have happened with me and Dre, I met my husband in 2010. We have been friends since 2010. But we didn't get together until 2016. And that's why I have advocated for friends first, because that's what has been successful for me. Welcome everybody to the live stream. My life is a classroom. Settle in and enjoy. And because we didn't get together until 2016, my husband's always like, man, I wish we would have got together sooner. And I was like, if we would have got together sooner, we would have been a toxic mess because we are soulmates. Soulmates vibe like this. Soulmates vibe like this or like this until they figure it out, But anyway, I was like, if we would have got together in 2010, we would be a toxic mess because we would be constantly being drawn to each other, but we wouldn't know how to treat each other. We didn't know how to treat each other until 2016. And that's potentially what happened with your parents or people in these types of situations. I don't know the exact, of course, but I'm just theorizing. When people keep being drawn to each other, but they don't know how to be together, that means that there's some sort of soul connection there, but they don't know how to be together. And so they repel each other, but then they come back. And this is friendships too. They repel each other and then they come back. You're just like, I can't get that person out of my system. Now there might be soul ties that need to be broken, because look, if someone is so damaged in this lifetime that they can't get their stuff together, you do not let them drag you down just because there's a soul tie. You do what's necessary to sever that soul tie. Hold on. I discussed that in my book, What's the Best That Can Happen, available at LoneeTaylorArt.com. Yes. But you need to sever that soul tie because it's not healthy and it's toxic. But people who are drawn to each other but can't seem to get it together, like you hear these guys talking about, oh man, the one got away. Yeah, because you attracted her, but you didn't know how to treat her. And when she tried to give you her handle with care instructions, and this goes vice versa. But I'm speaking from my perspective because I'm a female. So just flip it to whatever works for you. But when you attract the person into your life that you want to be in your life, because women, we choose first. We are the dominant being because we give forth life. Therefore, we run everything. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what this patriarchal society tells us. Now, in running things, what that means is we find people, or we allow people to enter our space, or we choose, whatever language you want to use, we choose people who uplift us. We choose people who feed us. We choose to surround ourselves with people that elevate us. And in elevating us, we elevate them. Okay? So when I say women run things, it's because we are the mother. Without a mother, there is nothing. You know, I was about to go biblical, but I'm going to leave that alone. I could have spun it, but I ain't going to spin it because that ain't this. But with us knowing our power, we also know with Adam, he created Eve. And we assume just because he created Adam first, that man is first. First of all, man wrote the Bible. So how do we know what the creation really is? Well, let's just go with he created Adam. If Adam was sufficient, he would have stopped. But we know God was creating for 7 days. So if God thought that, I'm done creating that man, God would have stopped. But God knew that he was incomplete. So therefore he created woman. Because he was like, man, I made this man, but he don't know what the fuck he's doing. He gonna need a helpmate. He gonna need someone to lead him. Yes. That is why women run everything. Read your Bible. It says it right there in black and white. It doesn't. But let's use our logical brain. Our reactive brain tells us God created man first. Therefore, man isn't good. What? Logical brain, if it was man, he wouldn't have created woman, because man needs a what? A helpmate. What is a helpmate? Someone to help lead and guide them. So y'all get up. Y'all know what I'm saying. Anyway. But in knowing that we are the leaders, we must align ourselves with a partner. And I'm speaking same gender because that is me. So I'm speaking from that perspective. But Rocket, if you are of feminine energy, you are the leader. And whoever is more in the masculine energy, that is going to be the person that should follow you. But in that leadership, you align with someone that you don't mind following. We have screwed that up. I have led my family for 6 years. And I've done a decent job, coming from where we all came from. I've done a decent job to lead my family to the space that we're in. But now I understand that even though I am a leader and I led from a place of emasculation, I can admit that now. I led from a place of, yeah, I hear you, but we're still doing what I want to do. And even though I wasn't my husband, what I was doing was arguing with him until he got quiet. Arguing with him until he shut down. Continuing to come back and prove my point until he agreed with my point. So even though we're saying we're yielding to our spouses, the truth is we're probably strong-arming our our spouses into submission. And if we could realize that, we could realize that's the reason why you see men hanging out at the Walmart and not wanting to go home, because they got to go and be dominated in their own home. And we don't even know we're doing it. I just woke up to it and I'm like, damn, my husband doesn't have a voice because I never told him that I value his voice. And not even told him that I value his voice. I never showed him that I value his voice. And so I'm moving into that place. Right now I'm in 30 days. I'm in 30 days of doing whatever my husband says. If my husband says jump, I'm going to tell him I have bad knees, but I'm going to try to jump anyway. I don't know whose sweatshirt this is, so it's probably Bailey's. You know, I'm folding this laundry in the middle of summer. I live in Arizona. It's 110 outside on a good day. And I sure am folding a lot of hoodies and long sleeve shirts. Like this family, I ain't asking no questions. I just know I'm hot over here in this t-shirt that I got from LoneeTaylorArt.com. Pick up your merch, tip the jar if you feel blessed. So yeah, we got to make sure that we're not silencing our spouses anymore. We want to make sure that we're giving our spouses the opportunity to join in the leading, because something that I have discovered for myself is men lead this way. You let a man lead, you're going to go this way. I got a bad finger. That's why I don't move the way it's supposed to. So, you know, you limping along following a man. I'm just playing. But yeah, men lead forward. Women lead up. Now, we don't want to just go through life this way because we're not experiencing anything. This is the Groundhog's Day I talked about on Saturday. This is the Groundhog's Day. That means every day is the same. You're not experiencing nothing different. You literally can take your consciousness and leave it in the bed and your body can go live your house. Hey, C Bizzle, you know, so you're going this way. Now, a woman, she'll go this way for a little bit, but then she'll get bored and she's like, okay, what's next? So a woman is always looking for next. They're always looking for a fixer-upper, always looking for a project. Men are just like, shit, I just want to maintain. And you may not understand this, and you may not understand this. But what you probably do understand is a woman is always looking for something to do, and a man is always looking to maintain. Same difference. Now, when you get together and you have equal leadership, then you have this. And so you have that moving and progressive. So let me go this way so you can see. Think of, what do you call those things? A graph, but it's the line graph. And this is what your life should look like. If you are letting a man run your relationship is going like this. If the woman is running the relationship, it's going like this. But if she's progressive, some of us are moving so much in our masculinity, we're fucked off. We're like this. There's a little progress, but it's slow. And it depends on how aware you are. It might even be like that. But anyway, how it should work, and we're speaking to the awoke and the aware. If you were on my live and you were part of this community, then you already know how to be progressive. So we move in like this, right? So when you allow a man to lead, you allow the woman to lead. You allow the man to lead, you allow the woman to lead. You allow the man to lead, you allow the woman to lead. You see how it's a partnership? That's the way it is. We're supposed to move. Level up, experience, level up, experience, level up, experience. So that's why it oscillates. And it doesn't mean that, okay, I get 6 months. No, it's case by case, day by day. Sometimes I'm volleying to you because this is your strength, and sometimes you're volleying to me because it's your strength. See, Bizzle, are you ready to hop on? Let me know when you're ready. Casper is a part of the community. Casper, make sure you follow. Thinks deeply, but thinks deeply in a way. I believe that this is still dirty. Thinks deeply in a way that really just pokes holes into what's going on in the world. So if that is your type of content, definitely check out Casper. But be really in like 5 minutes appreciate. Okay, let me know when you're ready. I just don't want you to sit and hang on while I run my mouth and then you just waiting for your opportunity to jump in like double dutch, like, shut up, Lonnie, let me in. Shut up, Lonnie, let me. All right, yeah, so let me know. All right. I've been rapping for about 52 minutes. Who's going to be here is going to be here. So let's get into our topics of today. Universal energy. Actually, before I do that, let me get into the comments really quick because I am not ignoring you. I promise. I feel like I wouldn't meet the one until I'm in a particular place independently. So what that means is I feel like I will not meet the one until I'm in a particular place independently. Correct. Because as you work on yourself, and the one thing that we're missing is we're seeking spirituality. Spirituality is necessary in order for us to do the physical work, which is something I talk about in my book, What's the Best That Can Happen? How to open yourself up to receive connection. Because once you start receiving connection, now you can start working on yourself. You can start working on yourself, but you cannot work on yourself until you receive connection. This outside world cannot tell you how to work on yourself because this outside world does not have your handle with care instructions. The outside world does not know how you function. You are an individual. You are independent of society. You are independent of your parents. You are independent of everything. Which means in order for you to become united with something, including your parents, you must communicate what you need. And as a parent, you need to receive it. As parents, we err because we have 4 children and we try to raise them all the same. No. If you have 4 children, you have 4 different parenting styles. So if your child is like, well, you treat them differently. Yeah, because I got to maneuver this one a little bit different than I maneuver you. Now, where we err in that space is we treat our children differently. I can admit that I treated Angel differently than I treated my other 3 children because I did not understand Angel. But once I came to the space of understanding her and understanding that she was me, she's my difficult aspects of my personality. And we have to know that these children incarnated to us particularly because we can help them navigate this life. So if you have a particularly difficult child, whatever that difficulty looks like, just know that that is a manifestation of your own difficulty. And God would not have put that child in your care if you could not care for him. So do not write your child off as I did. I have corrected myself. Figure out a way how to reach your kid. And the way that you reach your kid is sitting down and having conversations with them and allowing them to give you their handle with care instructions. This is the way that I need to be loved. This is the way I need to be spoken to. This is the way that boo, boo, boo. In that, you are empowering your child. So your child does not become an adult who cannot speak for themselves. So your child does not become an adult who shrinks themselves in the face of authority. No, you allow your children to have a voice, and that way they know their place in this world and they can speak their truth. So first, spiritual connection. Yes. After spiritual connection, now you start downloading what you need and you start doing the things in the physical world to be okay. And as you become okay independently, now you start receiving differently. You start accepting differently. You start looking for different. You stop looking for the low-hanging fruit to be friends with. You stop looking for the easy access people to date. You start elevating yourself. And as you elevate yourself, yes, it's lonely. But loneliness is better than the pain of aligning with people who are going to hurt you. I would rather be lonely than hurt. So as you grow yourself and become the best possible human you can be, and the best part is you can do this with your kids, so your kids aren't 40 years old like myself trying to figure themselves out. My 18-year-old is going to be an amazing mother. My 18-year-old is going to be an amazing wife. My 18-year-old is going to know who the fuck she is. Why? Because I'm raising her at 18. Yes, thank you for the heart. Show your girl some love. Show me some love by tipping the jar. Show me some love by giving the hearts. Show me some love by commenting. Let me know that you hear what I'm saying. And so with our children, if we start with our children, they will not become adults who are trying to find themselves. If you are on a self-love journey today, that means yesterday somebody did not teach you how to love yourself. But you will find your person. Know that. If you set the intentions to find your person, you will find your person. And when you find them, you will be ready. You will be prepared. So you were right. You have to get to where you need to go. And they're going to show up when they show up. I've known my husband since 2010. Took him for granted. Didn't even see him. He saw me, but I didn't see him. I'm not, quote unquote, looking for a mate. Yeah, don't look for him. Okay. So when looking for a mate, you choose. Let me see. Yes, Kimberly, you are a female. Females choose. And I'm not meaning to gender, please don't get offended. But what I'm saying is we choose. When he asks you for your phone number or your socials, I don't know how y'all do it in 2023. You choose to give it to him. When they call, you choose to answer. When they ask to go out on a date, you choose to go. When they want to have sex, hopefully you got to choose whether or not you did it. I know that's not the case for a lot of us, which is unfortunate. And we're going to work on that by working with our boys. When he asks you to be a girlfriend or his mate. Someone says spouse is marriage. But anyway, when he asks you to join together with him and become a unit, you choose. You know, a girl can ask a guy, hey, do you want to date? And he's like, nah, I'm good. It's usually the man asks you. So we think that the man is the one in control because he asked you and you're just waiting for him to ask, yo, stop screaming. I got kids, y'all. Those of you who aren't familiar, welcome to my life as a classroom. We're thinking we're waiting for them to ask us, but in reality, they're waiting for the opportunity for us to say yes. Like if we flip that switch in our brain, like he has to prove himself worthy to be my boyfriend instead of, I can't wait, let me show him I'm going to be a good girlfriend, Kim. Because all he's looking for you to do is be a maid.
I'm trying to sleep.
I know, so you should try to sleep in your room instead of mine. This is my space. So please feel compelled to go to your room and lock the door on the way out. So we're sitting here and we're waiting to be chosen. And we're the one doing the choosing. Because when he asks you to be his girl, you decide. When he asks you to be his wife, you decide. So the objective here isn't to get chosen because you're the one you're the one choosing. The objective here is to surround yourself with people worthy to be chosen by or to be loved by, worthy to date, worthy to be friends with, worthy to marry, worthy to create children with. So that's your power. It's not theirs. All right. See, Bizzle, did I talk for 5 minutes yet? I'm ready. Put me on, AP. Put me on. Where's your invite? How do I do this? See, Bizzle. Let's see. Guess. I pressed the button. I sent you an invite. Hey.
Finally, 10 years later,
don't do me, Casper.
Why is my camera not showing?
I don't know. That's on you, see?
I don't know why it's not showing. That's weird.
It went black, so we might...
Hey! 10 years later. Oh, my God. I heard people call me back like 10 years later, and I'm in the middle of something. That is so annoying.
Oh, man. How you doing?
Girl, I'm okay. It's been an interesting couple of days, but I've been listening to you, but that doesn't go just for heterosexuals, though. Like, it's the same concept when it's women on women or, you know, A, B, C, K, L, M, N, O, P. It's so many letters now. When I was growing up, it's just either you're gay, you're lesbian, or it is what it is. Like, they do too much now. Well,
yeah, it's a lot, but I don't form an opinion because it's not my community. I'm just like...
I know, but that's why that's why I was just emphasizing, like, it goes both ways, you know what I mean? Like, everything that you're speaking on today thus far is, like, the same as, you know, people just think, oh, they pick me, or if they, you know, so it's just, like... I'm just tripping because everything you're saying, it pertains to the gay life too. And it's just people just want to like separate and segregate everything. And in reality, a relationship is just a relationship. It doesn't matter on the sex because you're attracted to who you're attracted to.
Yes. So my question for you would be, Now, excuse me if I use the wrong language, but
Oh, it's all good.
you've been rocking with me long enough to know I'm gonna say some dumb shit, but I don't mean no harm.
Oh no, I know. That's why I ain't saying nothing. You see, I already poured a drink for your ass.
Right. You like this girl about to go off. Okay, so how do you identify in the relationship?
Honestly, I have a lot of trouble because I come out very masculine. But in reality, I'm not. I don't do labels. I hate labels. I just honestly like men's clothes. I'm very uncomfortable in women's clothing. But because I choose to wear men's clothing, people assume, oh, she a stud. She a bush. No, I don't do labels. Like, bitch, I want flowers. I want my dates. I don't want to plan everything. I want to pay for everything. Bitch, you see a mouse, I see a mouse. We both running. You feel what I'm saying? Like, like seriously. So me personally, I have a lot of trouble because I'm still a female. I don't identify just, yeah, I have more of a masculine side, but I don't exclude my feminine side. So it's very confusing for people because me personally too, I've had to tell my friends like I'm open with dating. You feel it? When I say I'm open with dating, I date lesbians, period. I don't care what the fuck you wear. I don't give a shit what you got on. What you put on don't define the person that you are. So as long as you a lesbian, you cool with me. I look at all women, and some people get it and some people don't. But I don't. I just don't label myself.
I think that's beautiful.
I don't think I should be put in a box. And a lot of people, especially in the black community, even in the Hispanic community, they kind of do the same labeling, which is sad, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like they just want you to label yourself so bad. And at the end of the day, I'm not ashamed that I'm a woman. As like just because I feel this way, or I have a masculine side to me, that doesn't mean that I forgot that I'm a woman. And that's why so many men be confused, because they run into people like me and they think we want to be men. But it's a lot of people out there that's like me, that think like me. They just too scared to say it. They too scared to talk about it. They too scared to be who they are. I'm a lesbian. Don't label me as masculine. I just love women. I just don't fuck with the dudes on that level. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm still a female. I love being a female. I ain't gonna lie though, I don't miss them periods.
What the hell happened to your period, Casper?
Girl, I had this, like, no, I had this one particular doctor that didn't tell me I was fibroistic. So I get fibroids. And it got to a point where it's unbearable, and I got so bad, and she never, and you know, this goes into a lot of people saying as black women we need to advocate for ourselves, because there's a lot of doctors out here that's not gonna, you know, and you gotta ask a bunch of questions and do, and I was kind of naive to it because the way I grew up. But I try to tell people, like, advocate for yourself. If you know something wrong, just, so it got to a point where I had to have a partial hysterectomy. Like, I was bad. I had to have they had to basically clean my uterus out just to take my uterus out and to clean the outside of my uterus, because I had so many fibroids. I possibly honestly could have died. And that was just all because of this one. I go every year. This one doctor I had, she just didn't give a fuck about black people. I'm gonna keep it a buck. She just didn't give it. If you wasn't white, she didn't give a fuck.
She saw you had an issue and didn't even ever address it with you.
No, she never told me I was like I was one of those people that get fibroids and nothing. She never even told me I had a cyst at one point. She never, and I had that same doctor like 5-6 years. And it's crazy because I went through like a mental breakdown a couple years ago. And then within that breakdown, I got all the doctors that I should have had. But, you know, God does things when he want to do. The creator, however you want to choose to call your God or whatever. Do things at their time, not your time. So I got blessed with a really great doctor. Like, you can barely tell I even had stitches. Because she was a cosmetic doctor as well. So I got blessed. So even though one doctor messed me up, I got one that's been taking care of me now. So that's why I try to tell a lot of people to advocate for themselves, because I know so many people personally that do not talk up for themselves, and they be like, well, why you go all the way over there for a doctor? Because these doctors take care of me. All through my charts, it say African American. All through that, it's certain people. You gotta weed through that, and it's sad, but it's true. A lot of doctors will f you over. Like a lot of doctors said I was overweight. Yeah, I'm overweight because I like to eat. I got a belly, but my bone structure is just black. You know what I mean? I am black and white, but my structure is black. My bones, black people density is way bigger than any other race out there. You feel what I'm saying? So our weight is naturally going to be different anyway.
Yeah.
And we just got to advocate for ourselves. And it was a brother on here that was going viral. I hope he went viral. You probably even seen him. He was a nurse, and then he ended up being an ER nurse that day because he came in for an extra shift. And it was a girl that died because she had internal bleeding after she delivered. And she knew something was wrong, but she didn't advocate and ask enough questions because she felt like if she asked so many questions, some of these doctors make you feel like you're a burden. And they feel like black people ask too many questions. So if you're in that predicament, you just need to switch doctors.
Well,
I'm just going to say it like that.
I have a question as far as, why don't you think that people advocate for themselves? Do you think that it's a knowing that we can speak up for ourselves? Do you think it's a fear of authority? Do you think if we say something, then we'll get worse service than we're already receiving? Why do you think that we are not advocating for ourselves?
I think it's a bunch of things. For one, it's unfortunate, but it's true how people say get rid of the 400 years, but that's installed in you after. So even I was taught, I'm a Gen X, and I was taught to shut the fuck up, don't say nothing. So when you're taught to just obey and not advocate for yourself, unfortunately when you get older, until you get tired, until you want to wake up, until you want to get help, you get used to staying in that aspect of, let me be quiet so I can get the best service I can get, because you don't think that you're going to get better service if you advocate for yourself. Because a lot of times it's true, you get treated different the more you speak up for yourself, because they're like, why are you talking? So I think it's a combination of growing up and being silenced, and then also at the same aspect, it's like you already know 9 times out of 10 things ain't changed. So when you go into these doctor's office, if you want certain things done and you advocate for yourself, 9 times out of 10, by the time you get ready to have birth, or by the time something serious happens, you can't really advocate for yourself, because a lot of times they just feel like you asking too many questions. And all you trying to do is, they don't understand. You didn't go to school. You're not a doctor. You want to know what's going on. But a lot of that's just like the whole thing when you go into the doctors and they say black people could withstand more pain than the average. So it's just like it's a win-lose situation. It's hard to define like which aspect you're gonna go on it, because it's like a win-lose situation until more black and or open-minded people become doctors and lawyers and government. Unfortunately, it's gonna stay like this until everything switches, because a lot of people are too scared to stick up for themselves. My generation tried, but that's why I trip on people that get mad at the millenniums, because I like how millenniums are moving. They're like, okay, this don't make sense, I'm not doing it. And my generation was pretty much, we had to survive. A lot of us didn't start living until our late 30s into the 40s, because all we wanted to do was survive. And a lot of us are just now waking up. A lot of us, and the kids we had is already well awake. Like I had to, like you were saying about kids and I only had one daughter, you know what I mean? And I was strict for my own personal reasons. And we had to have a conversation. She was like, Mom, I'm grown now. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. And then I had to have that conversation. Like, look, this is why I was the way I was. You gonna thank me later. You know, today's my grandson's 4th birthday. So she's an excellent mother, and she tells me, like, I get where you coming from now. But we had to have that heart-to-heart conversation. Like, she like, Mike, can't treat me like a kid. And I'm like, well, you still. And then I had to remind myself, like, when I was young, and I want her to open up, and I don't want her to be emotionally fucked up and find out the line, like, open your mouth, talk for yourself, advocate for yourself, love yourself, take time for yourself. You don't necessarily, you need to, a lot of people fuck up good people because they not healed. And it's not intentional. I've dated a couple of people that was like, you too good for me. And I be looking like, bitch, I'm healing myself. but it's just they mean well, but their heart is broken, and they don't see it until they run into a good person, and then they're like, shit, I asked for you, but then I end up fucking up because I'm not healed. So yeah, I wish more people, it's a taboo to get therapy, and I hate that it's a taboo. I actually know someone in Africa, South Africa. I know her very well, and we just had this conversation this morning on how she even wished more people would go to therapy, and it's taboo in Africa as well. So people tend to think that the traits are still not enrooted here, and in reality, she even said, when black people here see somebody run, we running too. And I'm like, damn, y'all do that too? But it's crazy how it's still installed, and a lot of people don't understand, like, a lot of their roots is still here. It's still here. It's still in them. So I just think it's a fear-based kind of thing, and when you grow up and you get silenced, it's hard. It's hard.
So I think I received from that is we just have to be mindful of, yes, I'm your mama, yes, I'm in charge, yes, I'm an authority. But when we're so much of an authority, and we're so much be quiet and listen and do as I say, not as I do, then we're raising children that will become adults who don't know how to move independently, but they don't trust us enough to come back and say, what should I do? And some of us don't even know how to tell our kids what to do. Some of us will tell our kids, shut up and just listen to your doctor, so we don't know how to advocate for ourselves because we did not allow our children to advocate for themselves because that is talking back, So I think it's a fine line between, because what I've done here is, and I don't know what I'm doing, I'm making this up as I go, but what I've done here is I realized everything that I was doing before fundamentally was correct. How I was doing it was not correct. So beating my child into submission so that they respect me and listen to me, incorrect. Gaining my child's respect through giving them what they need, that is correct. So I think that we have it figured out fundamentally within our community. I just think the execution needs to be reviewed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just a whole, like I said, like a lot of people don't understand by us not knowing certain history and understanding certain things. Like the LGBT community sometimes trips me out because they get upset when other people don't understand. But a lot of times, it goes back and it gets passed on and passed on and passed on. And people don't understand, like, why people are how they are, but they don't have those tough conversations either. You know what I mean? Like, I had to have that tough conversation with my daughter because I didn't, like, it took my mom to get sick for her to kind of understand me completely. Like, she thought it was her reasoning on why I became a lesbian. I'm like, no, I was born like this. I've been liking women since I was little. I've been looking at them, but I couldn't be myself because I was too scared I was going to get beat up. So, whether it be by you or a group of other people, because in the 80s and 90s, it didn't matter if you was a girl or a dude, you was getting whacked. So, and a lot of people don't understand that. They think it was just dude on dude in the 80s and the 90s. No, lesbians was getting jacked up too. Like, it wasn't like that. So I mean, it took a lot. It took my mama to be sick for us to settle a lot of stuff. And when my mom got sick a second time, I was like, fuck this. I can't be like this with my child. Like, me and her were butt heads. We the same, but we the opposite. Like, my daughter is, she's certain things in me that I wish I was. You know what I mean? Like, this motherfucker just get up and go. Like, fuck this shit. I'm gonna go try it. Me, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna plan it, and then I'm gonna do it. Her motherfucking ass be like, Mom, gone deuces. She might cry about her shit later, and then she be like, I'm gonna get it together. I'll be fine. I'm like, motherfucker. But then I think about it, like, she get the strong side for me, but I'm just happy that she learned and she paid attention to certain things that I never thought she paid attention to, where she just go out there and get it. She don't care. She ain't got no fear. She just go, and I be having to remind her, like, yeah, you might not be where you want to be, you know what I mean, but you got that spark in you. And it's crazy because I used to be like that until I had to be, I'm like the mama bear of my friends and my family, you know what I mean? I'm the middle child. I was raised to be the oldest. I ain't signed up for this shit. Girl, I be wanting to run every city. Yeah, I'm telling you, like, I gotta get your book too. Cause I'm definitely gonna read it. I got mine coming out too, and I've been contemplating, and I wasn't strong enough. Yes, I'm so feeling that. I'm loving the title. The title is All You.
Yes, isn't it? Perspective.
Yeah, it is, and I'm loving it, and I love how you share your journey with you and your husband. It be tripping me out because I know he a Cancer too. He a Cancer too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it be tripping me out because I just be sitting here and I be saying certain things he do remind me of me, and I just be like, and I just laugh. So I love the aspect of you showing. You know, it takes a lot for someone to show the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know what I mean? So many people are scared to be their motherfucking self.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I fell in love with your content. And, you know, I love you as a person. Even though I haven't met your ass yet, I love you as a person because you just keep it a buck and don't get no fuck. And I respect that because you authentically yourself. You raw. And I love that your husband is raw. I love that y'all raw together. Y'all could be like, motherfucker, I hate you, I love you. I hate you, I love you. Go cook that shit, okay? Like, you know what I mean? I love it. I love it. I love how you supporting him and his weight loss, and he over there getting geeked. I love that. Girl, yeah, I know I done peeped it. It's Cancer thing. I already that. But hey. But you know, more people need to see that back. You know what I mean? A lot of people, like, and that's what kills me too. And it's crazy because I've been having these conversations back to back. And one of my friends yesterday was just like, it's crazy how people, when people at their lowest, like, I've been up and down. Honestly, I was married like 5-6 years ago. I got divorced. It was the best thing I ever did in my motherfucking life. Long story. I ain't put it in the book. I was tempted. But I don't like downing people. Even though they fuck me over, at the end of the day, they gotta work. They gotta go. Everybody gotta die and go answer to that shit. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm not the type of person that's gonna knock no motherfucking down. So people be like, oh, no, none of your motherfucking business. Motherfucker just fucked up. I just left.
It was
none of your
weird.
business.
That's what I say. I was like, it was so weird.
Right, I'm just like a motherfucker fucked up. I got the walking, bitch. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm not telling you shit else. That's my personal business. Now, even if a motherfucker, this person done knocked me or tried to, but people know my character, so I ain't never tripping. I don't even care. Because at the end of the day, guess what? You still got to answer for that too.
Yeah. And you gotta answer,
you know that
lifetime. You got to answer
right.
Lifetime.
And
you got to answer for it in the next lifetime. No. The life that you are living today, you are answering for your choices. So be mindful of those choices.
Exactly. That's why I said what I'm about to do. I'm about to take, like, people like, oh, and my light came back on. Cause AP, when I tell you my light is back on, my light is back on. Cause now I'm starting to get different attention. Cause at first people was like, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? I'm like, I'm good. My energy levels was low though, but I was pouring too much. My cup was overspilling, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, I hate work. I got to figure this out. Like, I had too much stress all at one time, and I'm the therapist for everybody. So it's just like I had to tell people, "Fuck you, give me a minute." I started getting into my painting. I'm gonna show you a painting since you're an artist. But I'm working, girl. This is like one of the best books that I picked up for business.
Okay.
I got it at Barnes and Nobles. When I tell you this thing break down everything, cause you know, well, no, you probably don't know, cause I don't post it a lot. But I'm a barber as well, and I'm new to it.
Okay.
I only been out in the game like 5 years.
Okay.
But I'm gonna show you. I don't even know how to turn the camera, so I'm just gonna do one of these numbers.
Oh, that's pretty. I love it.
Yeah. So I got it. That was my last painting, but I got one. It's one painting that I'm obsessed with. But people, I got some of my paintings on the wall.
Okay.
So a lot of people like this one. Honestly, I've been an artist since I was like 10. But I did a very detailed picture, and I got disqualified for a competition, so I stopped. I got real discouraged. I was young, and my mother's a very good artist. God rest her soul, but she's a very good artist. And I actually, my daughter, she's not a good artist per se, but she's very she's designer. Like, she can look at something and design something. So this is because this was one of my moments that I was like real.
That looks like pain.
Oh my God. Yeah, so this is one of my moments. Like, I was coming out of my dark place.
Yep, I see it.
But that's, yeah, so I put my words. Oh my God, if I answer the first time, that means I'm not going to answer. You said what? I'm sorry. No, that's cool. This one I had to do the roots.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
This one, I want to see what you interpret from this one.
All right, so I see. Is it you by yourself? Or you just want me to say what I feel from it?
No, say what you feel from it. You're an artist, so I want to see what you see.
Okay, so I see the reflection. I see it's rooted. And I see that I'm about to make up an interpretation, but I'm about to slay this shit because I see everything.
Get it, girl.
I see everything coming from the root, and depending on how you feed your soul or you feed yourself, because the tree is the soul, right? And so I can't point to it, but everything's coming from the bottom, which is where we're rooted, right? So our masculine energy, and then the growth is in the feminine energy. So that's where we branch out and we become who we become. And we can either choose to grow in despair, which is going to be the right side, or we can either choose to grow in our, our greatness, which is the right side.
That's fucking crazy that you said that, because that's exactly why the fuck I painted it. Because the trees always mean, people don't understand how trees are really defined. So that's why I did the tree all the way down here, because this is the roots and it's expanding. And it's always a good and dark side. So if you go to the dark side, you notice I got the umbrella.
Yeah.
And if you notice, you can't really see, but this bitch is thicker than this one. And I did it on purpose so you can see it doesn't matter in size either. And then this one, I wanted to do another one, but this was my painting for the brothers. I felt like I need to do a better version, but I was playing with it.
But check this out real quick. Something that I realized as I've been going through my spiritual evolution, as me and Dre have done the work and we're healing and evolving and changing, the weight that our body was carrying released. So I think a lot of and we know this about sickness and illness, but a lot of the weight that our body is carrying, and the reason why we can't lose weight, is because our body is holding on to whatever form we're existing in. And there's internal work that needs to take place in order for your body, your physical body, to release. So for your thick girl, on the despair side, her body is potentially holding all that trauma, and she's beefing up. We think it's because the way we eat, we think it's because of this, but the moment you go on a diet, you still ain't losing no weight.
Yeah.
Well, science tells us if we go on a diet, we should be losing weight. So why aren't we? Science tells us if we go and work out, we should be losing weight. Why aren't we? Science tells us if we change our diet and work out, we should be losing weight. Why aren't we? Because there's something that needs to happen here. There's something that needs to happen here, and then your body will start releasing that weight. So the lady in despair, how she's thicker, you did that for the reason you did, but something that I have realized recently is the moment that I released the bullshit, my body released the weight.
But you know what? That's 100% real, because people ask me, like, I'm not that big, okay? Honestly, most of my problems is from my gut. But I know it's because I've been traumatized for so fucking long and by so many people. And of course, it roots at home, you know. And when you get like that, it causes a problem. And it's so true. And people like Casper, Michelle, like, why you ain't went to the gym? Now, you know, I had knee surgery. My surgeon is like, oh, you doing real good. But I'm like, I want to go to the gym. And a lot of people like, well, you always been a gym person. Why you ain't went to the gym? And I'm just like, because my heart's not completely into it right now. I need to work on me a little bit more, because it's not going to help me. Where I used to be in the gym is not where I'm at right now, mentally. Physically, I'm ready to go. But mentally, I refuse to fail myself over and over and over, because I'll go and then I'll stop as soon as something happens. And that just lets me know I need more work on myself. And to be honest, like, today is the first day I had this much energy in a very long time. And somebody was draining my energy. Actually, it was more than one person draining my energy. But one particular person. And I don't think they were doing it deliberately, but like I said, you know, it's people don't want to use the words hurt people, but in a sense, a portion of that is true, because a hurt person doesn't heal and don't know. Some people just don't know where to start.
Yeah.
And for me, I had a nervous breakdown. Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I'm not gonna say exactly when, because that might be in my next book. But I had a literal nervous breakdown, and the doctors even tripped. They was like, "We thought we was gonna have to zap you to snap you out of it." I said, "Nah, you ain't have to do all that. I heard everything y'all was saying. I just tapped out for a second." And they was like, we surprised that you haven't snapped. And all I did was give them a little bit. Now, my book has a lot of it. And it's just crazy, because people, like, I had this one girl at my job. She was like, why do you share your story and you're so free? I said, because if it can help anybody, I don't give a shit. That's my journey in this world. Why you share so much? It's a lot of shit I don't share. But I share what I feel that's important to share at that moment or with that person, because people always see me smiling. They always see me as a good person. They always see me as I find the light in everything. But they don't see the darkness that I've been through. And like, even one of my tattoos is say, I use Carly B's laugh, but down 9 times I get up 10. And it's just, every time I get knocked down, I rise. And people just be like, how the hell is she rising? Because I refuse to quit. I know the longevity. I know I've blessed people in between me rising. So I'm not gonna quit what I'm destined to do. Now, granted, I have a lot of talents. I don't know where the hell I'm supposed to go. You know what I mean? Like right now, I told my therapist, shit, I got therapy every motherfucking Monday. I don't care. I tell people, bitch, go to therapy if you need it. You know what I mean? Because sometimes Our friends be on bullshit. We don't need to hear their advice. And they don't give the best homework any motherfucking way. You figure that shit out? Right. So, you know, and then that's someone you ain't got to talk to. And sometimes we all need help, and it's so taboo. It's just crazy. But
yeah. Well, the reason why I asked you how you identify, not because I'm nosy, and I was like, ooh, I get to talk to you like a man, so I'm going to talk. No. The reason why I asked you was because I've noticed, and again, if this is ignorant, I apologize. I have a friend who's Mexican, and I ask her some of the most ignorant-ass questions, and I'm just like, I'm thankful that I can ask you these questions because I'm curious. But society says don't ask those questions because they're offensive, or you'll come across racist, or you'll come across bias. But how do I remove the bias if I don't ask questions? You know? And so if I ask something, I don't mean to offend. But so I've noticed that a lot of, and the reason why I asked you how you identify, if you identify on the masculine side, which we've already confirmed that's not the case, but maybe you could speak for some of the ideology. Do you think that the ones that are the humans, the people who identify as masculine, the way that they act, like they emulate the man? They talk like a man, they move like a man. And the reason why I'm asking that is because I have a friend who was doing a live, and there was a what are they called? The male identifying. She called him a bull dyke, but I don't know if it's offensive. A stud is okay?
Okay. Well, no. Well, it depends. See, I grew up in the Midwest, in Chicago. We don't like, if you're black, we don't use the word bull dyke. Bull dyke is a negatory word, mostly used for black people that beat on women. So we don't prefer that word, and I tell people, like, they be like, man, you a dyke. You can't use that word with me. I grew up in the Midwest. That's like saying you a nigga beater. We don't like that shit. Just call us a stud or just call us masculine presenting. But I realize, because I have traveled to other states use different words. Like if you was in Florida, if you say dyke, it's not offensive. You come to Chicago, them fighting words. We don't say that shit. So it's all about perspective and you being open-minded and asking those questions. So, I mean, I don't take it offensive because I've been to other states and I'm not closed-minded. It's a lot of people that's scared to get out of their comfort zone. It's a lot of people that feel like they're stuck and isolated where they live, that they can't branch out.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, no, that to me, that's not defensive, because when I hear certain things, I just be like, you know what, okay, me particularly don't like that word because this is what it looks like in the Midwest. This is how I grew up. And most of the time it's respected. Like, I have men sometimes that be like, damn, you cute little motherfucker, because, you know, I got a lot of hair. So, I ain't comb my motherfucking hair, so had it is. But, you know what I mean? So, I have, and I don't, like, if you see me going to work, you wouldn't think I was masculine 100%. How you see me, it depends. So I was in my car, a motherfucker gave me a compliment. I'm like, well, I didn't take it defensive. You just think I'm a beautiful woman. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You feel what I'm saying? But then to some people, it's like that. But the thing about that is, I just feel like people get things misconstrued. Now, I'm going to keep it a buck with you. Some studs that are masculine get on my motherfucking nerves. Because at the end of the day, you got a pussy bitch. And it's, I understand. That's just, everybody has a masculine, even the men. Some men do have a feminine side to them. It depends on the person. Now, most people, like most men, are of course going to identify with masculine. But it's some men that just be themselves and they show both and they not scared. Those are the quote-unquote metrosexuals. I don't know if they changed the terminology now. They still like women. They just don't care that they show that they have feelings. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Because so many men are mentally fucked by that. Like, they just not supposed to have feelings, which is stupid. Really? But, yeah, it's so stupid. I hate when people think that men ain't supposed to have feelings. Men don't feel shit. Them motherfuckers feel shit. They just know how to hold it in better.
because it was beaten out of them. It was beaten.
Exactly. Oh, you can't. Yeah.
It was beaten out of them by and I'm just gonna say the mother, just because that's usually the primary, but it was beaten out of them by their parents, potentially the mother, who is dealing with the man who ain't got no emotions. So she's dealing with the problem, creating the problem, you know? That's the irony of it. We're complaining about a lot of the issues within our community with our men while creating the problem with our sons. And we don't even wake up to that. But let me finish my story. Now that we know that it is masculine identified or butch, there was a masculine identifying female in her comments who was sexually harassing her. And she later told me, she was just like, you know, a lot of people think it's the men out here that are being degrading and harassing women on these lives. It's really the masculine identifying females that's out here just sexually harassing other women. Now, I get it. People are going to people the way that they people. But my question is, do you think within the community people manifest behaviors because this is how a person who identifies as way should act? Are all the effeminate acting men who are gay, do they really have to act that way, or is that how they act? You understand what I'm saying? Every heterosexual female isn't okay. You know, we don't all act the same. We all act different. But what I've noticed within the community, the men that identify as females all act like this. The women who identify as men all act like men. And I'm just like, is that you putting on a role because I identify this way, so I'm talking about archetypes. You know what I'm saying? How we all assume roles. So I'm wondering, within that community, are these behaviors, I'm assuming this role, or are these behaviors just, hey, this is how it manifests? I know it could be both, but what are your thoughts on that? You understand my question?
Well, that's a complex answer, to be honest, because I know men that are bottoms and still are men. That they'll say I'm gay, but you would never know they was a bottom. And I know a lot that just have more feminine energy and be like, hey girl, they really feel inside that they're a woman kind of trapped in a man's body. And that's their interpretation of what a woman is. So because that's their interpretation of a woman, that's what they internalize. But I wouldn't say it's a bad thing or a good thing. I'm just saying that's just how they internalize femininity. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure I said that wrong because that's how I say it. But
I understand.
But that's how they, you know, hey, understand my Spanish here. But yeah, that's how they internalize it. But the same thing goes for some studs. Like some studs, you know, I be with my friends. A lot of my friends are honestly feminine, and they be like, you know, I'm fucking with you because you still know you're a female. It's a lot of studs out here. I said no. It's a lot of studs out here that have masculine energy, and they have the notion that masculinity and men are the same thing, and in reality, it's not. It's about you have to grow as a person and understand where you stand. Like me, I stand to choose to be a woman. I'm more of a tomboy. But I know some studs that'll sag their pants and be like, what the fuck is you doing? Like, even with the dudes, I'll be like, what the fuck is you doing? Like, like for the dudes, I'll be like, nigga, that's a little feminine. For the females that be sagging their pants, I'll be like, you trying to be a dude? Like, but, I don't really think they're trying to implement a dude. I just think that's what they see in their head is what's considered masculine. That's what they're comfortable. That's what they internalize. Masculine looks like this. So that's how they present themselves. And in reality, it's false. Masculinity is just, I can't even describe it because it's the way people describe it is not really what it is. That's the same thing with femininity. A lot of people describe it, and it's not really what it is. Like, they had that whole debate about that trans girl saying, oh, I want a uterus. Bitch, you can have this uterus. Most females don't want this shit, and most of us don't want to bleed any motherfucking way. But it's just people got their panties in an uproar because it's like you define that as being a female, and it's more to being a female than just having titties and a pussy. It's more to being a dude than just having balls and a dick. You know what I mean? And people, it's crazy how they internalize sex with what it is, and it's not. It's just not. And you know, it's a lot of people out here just scared to be themselves. It's a lot of people out here that don't want to come up with the reality. It's a lot of people that just don't honestly love themselves because they're confused within themselves, and they don't see a lot of people being themselves. It's a lot of people in this world that just rather identify and not be leaders and prefer to be followers. See, me, I'm a trendsetter. You're not gonna tell me shit. I'm gonna be who the fuck I am, and I don't give a suck a dick. I'm gonna be me. Yeah, I'm a tomboy. At the end of the day, like my friend put it perfectly, you a tomboy. You still know you a female. Yeah, like, was I supposed to think any different? And you know, I had to have this conversation with my mom because when I had my daughter, she's like, I don't want to turn her gay. Well, how the fuck you turn somebody gay? I can't turn her gay. If she want to be gay, she want to be gay. She want to be straight, she want to be gay. I don't care. I don't care who she loves. Me having a child has nothing to do with my sexuality. I can love who I want to love, but at the end of the day, I'm still a female. If I want to fucking be a mother, I'm going to be a mother. You not going to stop me. And ain't nobody else going to stop me. And I'm not going to raise my child to be either or. My child is going to be who my child is. I don't have no say-so. The only say-so I have is holding that motherfucking pushing it. That's the only thing. You know what it is. The personality and everything, yeah, part of your child is you. But in reality, you done made this whole other little person. That person gonna be that person. You gotta treat that individual, hey, as they is. Like you said, you got different kids. You gotta treat them in different ways because every child is different.
They're like a
right, you know what I mean? And it trips me out how people go, oh, Studs is having babies. Did y'all not forget Studs is still films? They still winning. Just because they dress in a masculine way, maybe be masculine position, does not mean that they don't want to have a kid. That don't mean that they don't have that nurturing. That's the feminine shit in them. And they be too scared to see it because all they see is this masculine stuff. Let me tell you. You know how many times I done posted my baby. My baby is beautiful. And when I tell you, I don't even want to post her half the time because I be ready to fight. The good thing is my daughter is, you know, she a little thug. But my daughter is very beautiful and it's annoying. I love my baby to death. She know, you know, I love you, but I made too beautiful for a baby and you too thuggish. I'm glad you a little thuggish because I ain't got to work. I ain't got to stress. But you know, I asked my daughter, we had those conversations like, how you feel growing up because your mama looked like a stud. She was like, Mama, I don't care, you've been like this all your life. You've been gay since I came out. And I can't do nothing but laugh. I was like, it ain't bother you? She was like, you know, it bothered me when I was younger a little bit, but that's because people wouldn't leave me alone. And I didn't care, you still mama. And yeah, I was like, oh, okay. Because I wanted her perspective and not, you know what I mean? Because that's the perspective that matters the most. To this day, like, I still, and then everybody she, you know, talked to that she actually cared about and introduced me to, they be like, oh, they don't even look at me. They might see me dressed like this, but they look at me as like, oh, that's mama. She ain't finna play.
Yeah.
Down, you know what I mean? But it took my mama a minute to wrap her head around me being still, and I had to break that down to her too. So that's why it's crazy. I've had a lot of people tell me I should do a podcast because I'm so open-minded, and I've dealt with men, not because I really wanted to, but I know both aspects. And I'm very open-minded. I'm very understanding. I've been a mother, you know, so it's a lot of angles that I've been through that people don't see forth. You know what I mean? Like, I have a very open mind and I understand where people is coming from, but I have my own perspective on things too. And it's just like, the more we talk to each other, like how me and you talking now, the more people will understand the dynamics. And that's why I say, I rock with you, because I'm like, okay, she authentically herself. Let me see, is she, I'm one of them nosy ass motherfuckers. This when my cancer spidey senses kick in, like, because like I literally go through my friends list. I got some people, I got new friends on there now. I haven't even gone through my friend list yet. I literally go through every single friend list, because no disrespect, if you look suspect, you look like a robot, I ain't going.
Yeah.
You gotta have something on your page, because I don't care if it's 2 videos. You gotta show me something, because then I just feel like you being nosy and I feel some type of way. I don't know if that's a Chicago thing or what, but you suspect to me.
You don't want no lurkers.
Yeah. Right, because it's a lot of people on here that's like robots and will follow you to troll you to get your page disregarded. Especially the higher you go. You have a lot of them fake robots. It's even people on here portraying to be other black people, so you will add them and they not even that. You be like, this weird. Boy, you already know they trolls. That's why I take time to literally individually go through my page list. But yeah, you right.
We had a conversation with my stepchild yesterday. We had a group chat, and I was like, okay, the way that this content is going, are you guys interested in being involved? Because it came to my attention that my stepson does not want to be recorded. I was like, well, I just fly by him. I don't ever stick the camera in his face. And my daughter was like, don't even do that. And so I opened up the conversation in our family group chat. Everybody, our family group chat is very good if you want to keep your family connected. But, I asked a question in our family group chat. I was like, hey, where do you guys stand on this? And Ezra, my stepchild, non-binary, they, them, or he, birthed as a female, just so you guys know the history. Ezra was like, I don't mind being a part of the content. I just don't want to watch the videos, and in the videos, I'm constantly being misidentified. And I was like, okay, I understand that. And then her brother chimed in, and he just was like, well, I don't understand identification. You were born this way, and how is it? And then he just, drilled it down to sexuality, which is something that I've done in the past, and something that I came to. I was like, look, I don't have to understand anything that's going on when it comes to supporting a friend. When it comes to supporting a family member, I don't have to understand, because it's not my life to lead. If you choose to identify how you choose to identify, like my birth name's not Lonnie. My father still calls me my birth name, even though I've been Lonnie since I was 18 years old, because he refuses to switch over to how I identify. My family refuses to switch over to how I identify. Now that's just the name. Now my stepchild identifies completely different. Not only have they changed their name, but they changed everything else that they have chosen to change about themselves. And I don't have to understand it to respect it. And so what do you have to say? And then if you choose to stay, you can. I'm going to let you go. It doesn't matter. But I want to ask, how can you help family members navigate accepting? Like, you ain't got to understand it. Just respect it.
Trying to figure out how should I word this. It's funny because my sister is now gay, and I got the runt of the shit because I came out early, and I ended up coming out, and then everybody else started feeling comfortable coming out after I took the heat. So at that age, by your son being still young, he has to experience certain things to understand stuff. And it's people always identify sexually instead of the person themselves. So once you understand or have that conversation, like I feel like he doesn't understand. I feel like some people don't,
Not to cut you off, but what is it? How do you explain your sexuality without it being about sex?
Honestly, I just say I love different. My heart wants this. I'm attracted to this. It has nothing to do with sexuality. Like, I could look at a man and be like, damn, you beautiful little motherfucker, but I won't cross those lines because on a deeper level, I will never go there. And it's just simply because I just personally love different. The way I look at women is how men look at women. And I can't look at the man the same way. Men to me are just friends. I can still say the man is attractive, but I won't go there because mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, everything that I want is in a woman.
Right,
so sometimes I have to reverse it and say, okay, you straight, right? Example, you straight, right?
Yeah.
What turns you on? Like, let's say I'm talking to you and you don't know nothing and you're not open-minded and you ask me this question. I'm like, what do you see in your husband? That's the same. What does your husband see in you? Do you see how your husband looks at you? That's how I feel about women. It has nothing to do with sexuality. It has nothing to do with me sexually. I mean, you know, me having urges ain't got nothing to do with why I crave a woman, why I want a woman. How your man finds you attractive in all these fucking ways and the purity of a woman, that's how I look at women. Just like how you look at a man and it's deeper than just fucking sex. You know, because you're married. It's deeper than just looking at your man like a piece of chocolate drop. You know what I mean?
I'm here. I got it.
Hmm.
So how do you help your family understand your choices? Because there was like my
Um,
daughter said she woke up from her nap and
I
there's 167 text messages that went back and forth through the group chat because my stepchild was trying to explain like sending like articles and all these different things, and by the end of the conversation, she was like, "I would like."
this is the thing. Well, I've learned to reverse it and ask questions like, why do you think this way? Why are you looking at it from a sexual standpoint instead of what I just like? We are attracted to who we are attracted to, whether it makes sense to you or not. So what is making you think like that? Like I had to step back. Me and my mom battled for years.
Because not to cut you
And
off,
one day I just told her, like, what makes you think that?
because we can't like someone without it ending in sex. That answers that
And
question
that's
right there. My daughter constantly complains to me she cannot hang out with boys that she likes because they want to have sex. So the reason why heterosexuals cannot look at someone who identifies differently as that's just what I like, because what we like we must fuck. That's why. I'm done spewing.
that's
Go
true.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, but that's true. And and unfortunately, it's just one of those conversations you just gotta consistently have. Like, look, sex has nothing to do with it. At the end of the day, when you grow old with a person, sex has nothing to do with it. It's with the person that you're attracted to and that you want, and that spiritually, emotionally, um, you engage with, and that's the person that you want to be with. It's something that you just automatically know and feel. It's not something that you can change. And a lot of people think because you like the opposite sex or you identify as something else, that because it's not your choice, it's wrong. And it's not wrong. It's just everybody comes into this world differently. Like I was saying, you know, my mom just thought it was how she raised me, because she raised me to be so motherfucking tough and raised me to be the oldest, that and she knew I love sports. My mom loves sports. But she thought it was just something she did. I said, well, why the hell would you think that? And she just grew up with the thing of Christianity. You know, if you was to do this or look like this, you were basically Satan's child. So that's a whole nother subject. But you know, even with my sister, before she crossed over, well, apparently she been that way. I can't say crossed over, but apparently she been that way. She didn't get the strength until I came out. But she didn't even want to come out because she seen all the shit that I had to endure, and I had to consistently stick up to myself to a point where I said, you know what, fuck you. You gonna love me for me or you not? I don't give a shit. And it's unfortunate along those lines, you end up losing people. And then at the same time, you know, I lost my mama for years. I wasn't around my mom for years. You know, some of those years I really fucking needed my mom. And I had to just deal with things on my own. And I've had my blessings in between. But we got through those problems, and I just told her, fuck this shit, I'm tired. And we just had those tough conversations. I made her have those tough conversations. She didn't want to. She did not want to. When I tell you that motherfucking Irish lady right there, baby, y'all want to compare a black motherfucker to the shit. That Irish motherfuckers is crazy. That my mama did not play. She was a ginger. My mama is a ginger. Okay? She did not fucking play. All the black stories, trust me, I had them bitches too. You got hit with a whip, bitch, me too. So my mama did not fucking play. My mama did not play, and she was raised very old school. And that old school way of thinking that just because you different or you think different, that something's wrong with you. Like that picture I showed you, that's why I put that night and day, and I put that unicorn right there. I'm a fucking unicorn, bitch. You don't like me, I don't care. I'm a unicorn. And you know, sometimes it just takes people time. I will say it over again. Time. Just like they say, time heals all wounds, and then you begin to heal. It's the same thing. You can't change somebody's perspective on how they see the world or how they see you. You just got to stay true to yourself. So at the end of the day, you can't get right. You can't convince something to somebody that's not open-minded or doesn't want to hear. And you know, when you're young, you're impressionable, so you don't want to hear. You tend to hear things how you want to hear them until you get older and you realize, like, look. So that's not something, you know what I mean? Like, I would just honestly say, like, look, at this point, stop explaining yourself. Just say that you love differently. This is how you are, and hopefully you'll understand. And if you don't understand, you'll at least respect me. And if you don't respect me, then I just won't fuck with you. And sometimes, unfortunately, our family members will hit that motherfucking nerve way more than anybody. You know, I've lost a lot of people because I'm me. And I really don't give a fuck because I'm always going to be me. And yes, it hurts, it stings, and it's scary. But if you got at least one person, God rest my auntie Titi Wana, because that motherfucking lady is a saint. I'm trying not to tear up because she saved my ass. She saved my motherfucking ass. Ooh, she saved my ass in so many ways. And she was like, and my step family is Puerto Rican. And I know I look Puerto Rican, but I ain't fucking Puerto Rican. But that motherfucking lady, I'll tell you, she'll fucking beat a motherfucker with a chancleta for me. She would.
Not a chancleta.
Chancleta. Boy, when I tell you, boy, that motherfucking whip, don't fuck with Puerto Rican. When they throw this motherfucker, you better, they still gonna hit your ass a block away, I'm telling you. They aim is on something else. Man, they aim be on something else, I swear. Boy. But yeah, I mean, as long as she got one support system, she, him, her, whatever she identifies as with, she'll be okay. but it's not up for her to continuously explain, and she needs to understand and know she does not have to continuously explain. Be comfortable and love herself within. And if somebody gonna rock with you, they're gonna rock with you. If they're not gonna rock. And not all people are gonna understand you, and it's not up to you for a motherfucker to understand you. It's either they do or they don't. That's the same perspective as in a relationship. If you're in a relationship, a motherfucker gonna love you cold-heartedly or they fucking not. Everybody got a good side and a bad side. It's what you want to deal with. Yeah. So it goes kind of hand in hand. You know what I mean? So I would just explain it like, be yourself. I mean, not everyone's gonna understand you.
Yeah.
You know, I've been a black sheep. That's why I painted that motherfucking black unicorn. I'm different. I've always been different. And at first, I was like, damn, why am I always by myself? Why people don't, motherfuckers, I enjoy going to the movies by myself. I do shit by myself. I could be in a relationship and still do shit by myself. And people like, well, why the fuck? Bitch, I'm comfortable in my own skin. I don't need to rock with a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. I don't have to, bitch, I could have a house and a dog. I'm cool. Bitch, that I go get another one. I'm cool. Yeah, it's great to have companionship. It's great to be loved, XYZ, but it's not required, because at the end of the day, one of you motherfuckers are gonna die first. And you gotta know how to love yourself and deal with yourself. You feel what I'm saying? So that's where, that's why I love that you put out there about the healing, because at the end of the day, came in this world by yourself, you're gonna die by yourself. And you gotta be comfortable within your own skin, no matter what it be.
Agreed. I learned a lot from this conversation, especially this last little bit about.
I hear you. I'm running to the bathroom, but you're in my ear, so I hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I learned a lot about this conversation, especially from this conversation about being okay and being alone. And like I was saying, we can either accept low-hanging fruit just for companionship, or we can be okay with our own company. And being okay with our own company means that we are doing the work to be okay with our own company. And the work that I did, I cover in my book, What's the Best That Can Happen, because I hated myself. And I hated my thoughts. Now I love living in my head so much that I'm coming live every day, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, to share my thoughts. And you guys are aligning with my thoughts.
I'm sorry, you were in this Pacific time. You know I don't tell time.
Okay. Casper, go to the bathroom. But I'm coming to share. I'm coming to share my thoughts because I love my thoughts now. Something else that I picked up from this was, why do we have to mask to be loved? Why do we have to pretend we're not who we are to be loved? And if we stop pretending who we are, then our loved ones will love us. And this isn't just about gender identity. This isn't just about sexuality. This is life. How many of us are masking just to be accepted? How many of us are masking just to be loved? And I think that is, one, unfortunate, because that means all the relationships that we are founding, and a lot of these relationships that we're founding are some of our core relationships with our parents, with our children, with our spouses, with our friends. We have to pretend to be something or someone that we're not, because in order for us to be loved, in order for us to fit in order for us to be able to experience the things that we want to experience in life, pretend to be something we're not. And so I love that Casper discovered the freedom to be himself. I love that my stepchild discovered the freedom to be themselves, because I watched them as they were growing up. And I remember I used to go to my daughter and I'd be like, I think Precious is gay. And Dre would be like telling his different stuff, and I ain't ever seen Precious with a boy. I've never seen Precious with a boy. I was like, that's because Precious is gay. And then when Precious came out as gay, and now identifies as Ezra, I was like, well, if you actually pay attention to your kids, this is not that. I want you both to leave my room. Just because my door is open does not give you permission to come and interrupt me. Please leave. Thank you for respecting me. You know, and then when Ezra came out and how they identify, I was like, well, I'm not surprised because everything was there. And so I'm really excited. This year, I'm going to go to Pride with them, and they
When is
said they're going
Pride?
to, I don't know when it is,
I thought
but
it happened already.
apparently not in Arizona.
I thought so.
Maybe,
My friend stay in Arizona. She said she had Pride. She in Phoenix.
well, maybe there's another Pride. I don't know, but I'm going to Pride. Either in the 2023 calendar year or the 2024 calendar year, you will catch my ass in some Rainbow Daisy Dukes out there like, hey, I'm gonna be getting it. And then
Dang,
press
I need a plan to go down there next year.
yes, Ezra said that they're going to take me to a drag show because I've always wanted to go to a drag show.
Oh
And
my
I was like,
God, you are missing out. Drag shows is the shits.
I want to go so bad, but I don't even know how to find one. That and a roller derby. I want to go to a drag show and a roller derby. And
I've never been to a roller derby, but I always wanted to go. They used to have it on TV. And I used
yes.
to be so excited to see it on TV. They knock each other out. It's like football on skates.
Yeah, I can't wait. I want to go to a drag
Yeah.
show and a roller derby show, but I just received so much from this conversation. And then just the other piece that I received was, hold on, I attached to it too, but I forgot. But it was
You
good.
remember.
I will. If it's supposed to be remembered, I'll remember. But I appreciate your time, C Bizzle. Is there anything else you wanted to broach on before I let you go?
Yeah, how about them aliens?
You've been talking about aliens too. You've been talking about them.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, they been here. Look,
Yeah,
if
they
you grew up in the
close.
80s and 90s, we heard about them a long time ago. Y'all just now want to talk about them. We been talked about them.
Yeah,
We don't
we've.
care.
That's so
They
funny.
already, they been here.
Yeah,
People crazy.
I don't really pay attention to what's going on in the world because I feel the world is a distraction from myself. So I just live in my head. But I did catch a sound bite of the defense guy admitting that they found alien
Mm-hmm.
DNA. Yeah, I caught a little sound
Mm-hmm.
bite. Interestingly enough, my husband did not. He usually keeps me abreast on what's going on in the world. He didn't tell me nothing about the aliens though.
Oh, well, tell him Casper said talk about the aliens. But he fuck around and see Beanie Up Scotty in the backyard.
I think I'm an alien to keep it real. Stop it.
Yeah.
I'm not a regular human. I know that. Stop it.
But you know, when you say stuff like that, people are tripping if you say it to the wrong person. Cause my brother would be like, "I'm not from here." I'm like, "I already know," and he'd be looking at me. He'd be like, "You're the only person I know that responded like that." I said, "But you gotta understand, this ain't my first life in the world." And he just looked at me. He was like, "I know, but I didn't think he was gonna say it out loud." I'm like,
Yeah, it's
"We're
not.
related. You should know better."
Yeah, you know, those of us who we may not remember our past lives and our past experiences, but those of us who know that this ain't our first rodeo,
Oh
we're not
yeah.
shocked. We're not shocked by too many things.
No, we're not. We just be like, "Oh, cool. They back." Are they chilling? Where they at?
Take me, cause this earth is ghetto.
Yeah, I've been telling people been getting on our generation talking about some, well, y'all don't care. Like, do y'all know where we grew up? Like, do you understand our parents? Like, we just like, okay, this happened. Okay. We like what's new? We was in the process of we didn't have telephones, we didn't have computers, our telephones was only in the house. Like we grew up like completely different on survival. Y'all grow up on technology. It's a big difference. So we like, oh, even when we first had technology, we was like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
We all said we didn't like it. Like, man, I had a pager. I like the pager concept though, because you didn't have to answer. Now you got to put your phone on airplane mode and shit.
Yeah.
Yo, pager, you could be like, well, I ain't had no quarter. Unless it was your mama. You know you had to say that quarter for your mama if she called you.
You gotta call her
But
back or
okay.
else.
Right. You know you was getting in trouble if you ain't had that hot quarter.
Ah.
But yeah. Girl, I want to go back to the pager errors.
Yeah, I'm sure they're out
AOL where you had that annoying online. You're
there.
like, oh my God. Put the phone like this so you ain't got to hear it. Then your mama want to sneak on your line as you talking. You can't even talk to your boo and shit. You got talking cold so your mama don't whoop your ass.
Right. And now what the hell is going on with kids' phones?
Man, I pray every day, girl. I pray every day.
Yes, add me to
That's
them
the
prayers,
thing.
Bizzle.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna let
But
you go.
all right. Yeah, I'm about to go. Girl, I just finished my clothes too. No BS. Like I just came in the house, hung up the clothes I needed to air dry.
Yeah,
Which some young folks don't know nothing about air drying certain clothes. They just throw everything in the dryer. They put everything in the washer. Ain't no separation.
nope. I noticed. I was like, my t-shirts look new as long as I don't put them in the dryer. Therefore, they do not go.
Right. But you know, a lot of kids they throw everything in one. You teach them separation, they don't understand, and they put everything. Oh, my whites look gray. I wonder why.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
But yeah,
That's
I just came from Washington too. I just sat down. I'm debating. I was gonna barbecue, but I don't feel like it now. I think I'm gonna do my next painting. I got like this big thing in my head. I think I'm gonna do it.
awesome. Well, make sure you tag me when you post it. Do you share your art? I've
I
never seen
will.
it.
Um, Honestly, I don't share it because I'm so personal with my art. I have the trouble of people be wanting to buy my shit, and I don't want to buy. I don't want it to be bought. Like even though I know I'm supposed to share it, like each picture I do is like a journey of mine. So it's very hard for me to detach
So you
my
take
feelings from.
so you take those paintings and you put them in an art book and you sell the art book because it's your journey and it can align with your words if you choose to put words. But journey through your life through your imagery. That way you keep the original, but you still can let people experience your journey via your paintings. And give me a
That's what's up.
1% because I just gave you the idea.
Yeah, you did. I'd
I'm
be like, box you
like,
buy.
no, I think that's
Yeah.
a great idea because your paintings have feeling. I can see exactly well, not exactly, but I can see the feeling that you were trying to portray in that. And then if you added some words
Yeah.
to that, it's going to be powerful, you know?
Yeah, right. That's why people like you should sell. I sold like two of my paintings. Somebody done took my painting, and I couldn't argue to get it back because you know I can't argue with police when you look like a tomboy.
Uh,
So, so yeah. And then someone was like, "You should just take pictures of them and just sell them." I'm like, I kind of don't want to do that either.
yeah, I would put them in
So
a book.
I kind of like I kind of like your idea better.
I would put them in a book. And,
Because every time I look at that picture, I'm like, damn, I came so far. The one I showed you with the girl with the words on it,
mhm.
and I did that 4 years ago, and it just reminds me how far I came. And then I just sit there, like I got a thing for trees, and people be like, why you be staring at trees? I'm like, man, that tree got a story. They be looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, man, that motherfucking tree fucked up and it's still standing. And they be like, I'm like, this root's still strong. This bitch ain't failed. And this motherfucker half empty. You don't see that? Like, it's just common sense. But it's just people just look at me like, how's you? I'm like, that's just how I internalize things. Y'all look at shit different. I just look at things different. But, yeah. I'ma let you go. It's been real. I'm glad I finally got onto your live. I rarely get off on a Monday. So
Oh, well,
I'm happy I finally got to talk to you.
Monday through Saturday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
That means Chicago time. Don't know what the fuck she's talking about. I gotta Google that.
Just go into your world clock and punch in California time, and you'll figure out what time it is.
Cali time. Oh, okay.
Alrighty, sis. Thank you. I love you. I appreciate you.
All right. Oh, no problem. Love you too. Take it easy. Have a good rest of your day.
All right. I don't know how to disconnect. Do you?
Nope.
What's that button mean? Disconnect. All right. Yes. If you have not already followed Casper, go follow Casper. Check out her content, and that was an enlightening conversation. What I really received from that is maybe, just maybe, in our heterosexual mind, because relationship for us means sex, maybe that's why we can't look at those who do not identify as heterosexual as, well, how can you tell me about your sexuality without telling me about sex? Because we're so closed-minded as heterosexuals that we can't tell you about our sexuality without telling you about sex. That was really an eye-opener for me, because it's not about them, it's about us. And why can't we see how a person can speak about their preferences? And I'm trying to say this without saying the word sexual. But how can a person speak about who they're attracted to, who they choose to spend their time with intimately, all those different things? And intimacy is not sex. Intimacy is, I have intimate conversations. Some of the conversations I have with you guys are intimate. So intimacy is not sex. So how it's our work to do. If someone who is not heterosexual comes to us and says, hey, this is how I identify, and we immediately take it to sex. That is our limitations within ourselves, because this is the reason why my daughter comes to me today and she says she cannot hang out with any boys without them trying to have sex with her. Because we don't know how to be attracted to the opposite sex or attracted to anyone unless sex is involved. So that was something that having that conversation with Casper brought to light to me, is there's some work for us to do if we automatically equate attracted to something to sex. That is why we can't hang out with people of the opposite sex. That is why, right there. That was a good conversation. That fed me a lot, especially the need to mask. And one of the things that is on I have a bulletin board with all my topics to potentially talk about to fill our time together. And one of it is stop masking and deconstruction. Something that I'm experiencing here on my live right now, not my live, in my life. Something that I'm experiencing in my life right now is a total and complete deconstruction. A total and complete deconstruction means that I am tearing myself down and rebuilding myself. But in tearing myself down, that means the entire life that I have built myself around and I built myself upon is not the life that I choose to live going forward. So that means I potentially will lose friends. That's why when you change, you start losing people, because people aren't ready to receive the new you. People aren't ready or able to exist in this new space that you choose to exist. So the Lonnie that I am today is not the Lonnie that accepted what she accepted then. The Lonnie that I am today does not communicate the way that she communicated yesterday. but I still have yesterday family members. I still have yesterday friends. And so now those friends and those family members have to choose, is this the Lonee that I want to associate with? I actually had someone that I connected with on here on social media who was like, you know, your content went from something that I could vibe with to now your content is toxic. And I was like, well, I don't feel that my content is toxic. I feel that I'm healing. So if I'm healing and I'm releasing toxicity, then that's a part of my healing journey. Now, what I am experiencing through my healing journey, because you attached to me during a point in my healing journey that was familiar to you for whatever reason. But now as I go through my healing journey, because it is a journey we heal along, as I go through my healing journey and I head to a space where either I'm stuck or I'm working through it, because it's okay on your healing journey to know that these are areas that I'm not dealing with. I understand there's something here, but I'm not dealing with it. My sister has been on my radar since Monday. On Monday, I was in the airport traveling back home, or Tuesday, I'm sorry. On Tuesday, actually Wednesday, shoot, because we travel for 24 hours. It doesn't matter. I get caught up on semantics. On Wednesday, we're traveling through the airport, and we're in the Colorado airport where my sister lives, and I see a little girl that I'm like, I think that's my niece. Now, first of all, the fact that I think that's my niece is a problem. That means that I have seen my niece so infrequently that I can see a young lady that looks like her and I say, I think that's my niece. But I'm not in a space where I'm interested in remedying that. And it's okay. That's not me choosing to remain in toxicity. That's not me choosing not to whatever in a negative space. All that is saying, in this space that I'm in, I'm okay with the relationship as it is. So my niece is my sister's daughter. So that was the first time my sister was put on my radar this week. The second time that my sister was put on my radar was I need to use an old account, but that old account had a name. Well, I don't need to use the old account. I need the name on the old account. So in order to get the name off of that account, I have to delete the account. And I didn't know how to delete the account, so I just started going through deleting everything off of the profile. So since I can't delete the account, at the very least, if somebody does come to this account, it'll be blank. But while I'm deleting the accounts or deleting the videos, I come across a video of when my sister and her husband, they started a podcast about marriage in 2020, and I run across one of their episodes. Well, me being the hater that I am, because I still have work to do in relation to my sister, because I believe that they're a shim sham, but what do I know? I know they're a shim sham. But anyway, as I go through and I delete these videos, I find my sister and her husband, and they're giving marital advice. And I was like, let me go see what the hell they talking about, because they the maskinest, phoniest, does it look good? Okay, we're going to do it type people out there. I can't stand them pretentious ass motherfuckers. Anyway, not them personally. I can't stand fake people. I can't stand people who put on for perception. I can't stand people who put on because it looks good, because you're living a lie and you're sending that lie out into the universe. And now you're creating all these relationships, i.e. the relationship that my sister created with me. She did not create a relationship with me because she wanted a relationship with me. She created a relationship with me because it looked good. And I know that that's why she created a relationship with me, because the moment that we bumped up against each other, she was no longer my sister. Like, how can you no longer be someone's sister? Which is cool, because I don't fuck with her either. But the point is, if it was real love, we could bump up against each other all day and we could work through it and move through it. And that's why I'm such a family advocate, because there's no reason why sisters should be able to bump up against each other. And I want to say it was 3 years ago, 2020, when we bumped up against each other during Thanksgiving. It's all on our YouTube channel, As the Apple Turns, if you want to watch it. I don't fuck with her. She don't fuck with me. And that's not the way sisters should be. I shouldn't have to go out into the world and find a mother. I shouldn't have to go out into the world and find a father. I shouldn't have to go out into the world and find a sibling. I should not have to go and make friends and stand-ins and create a family when I have a perfectly good family I was born into. But because we don't know how to be family, we must now go out and create our family. Which is fine, but it's not. It's not when we know that we can do the work to be okay. But we choose not to. Therefore, we have to go out into the world and find our tribe. And welcome to the Appletons. And as the apple turns, please follow. And my life is a classroom. But anyway, I'm watching their little video. I'm watching it from a hater perspective. But I'm listening. I was like, you know what? That's my sister. Like, we got the same DNA posting through our veins. I know what kind of time she's on as far as knowing what the fuck she's talking about. I can't even come on here and hate on her because I know where she's coming from. We come from the same stock. So I can't even get on you and I can't even get on your head like, y'all fake, but what you saying is facts. And that's what we're running into with these creators that we attach ourselves to because they are masking, they are pretending to be something that they're not. And we always worry about, oh, they're pretending financially, no, they're pretending ethically, they're pretending spiritually, they're pretending. They're pretending in a way of whatever gets them attention. And so I'm watching my sister's situation, and one of the ones that she published was talking about how you have to put yourself on the schedule of your adult children, because just because they're your children does not mean that they're not now adults and they have to make time for you. And either right after I watched that or right before that, I had sent out a text message to my adult children, and I was just like, I want to have a family meeting. I was like, I want to have a family meeting, and the stuff that I want to talk to you guys, I want to talk to you face to face. And one of my children was like, I can't make it. I have all these things going on, and this is just one more thing to add to my plate. I need at least a 3 weeks notice. And at first I was like, damn, okay, way to put us on the back burner. But I was like, shoot, if somebody wants to hang out with me, I'm like, I need at least a 2 week notice. I can't just jump up and come hang out with you. So even though you're my child, I can respect your boundaries, especially when I just watched this episode of my sister's podcast that said your adult children have their own time that they're on, and you have to make time on your child's schedule. So, hey, can you pencil me in for whatever? Hey, can we have this family meeting? And so that was just kind of a confirmation sent from my sister about what's going on. But anyway, the whole reason why I said that is I know that there's areas that I have work that I need to do. I know there's healing with my stepchildren that need to be done. I know there's healing with their mother that needs to be done that will probably never be done, and I'm okay with that. And I know there's healing with my sister that needs to be done that I'm okay if it never happens. I know there's healing that needs to happen with my family, and I'm okay if it never happens. Because the healing that I choose to focus on is the healing from me down. Me to my spouse. Besides me and my spouse and me and my children and my children's children and my children's children and my children's children, from me up, I could care less. Because the type of time I'm on here, they're not on it. And it's not my job to convince them to be on it. I have fought my husband for 5 months. I just literally looked at the board. Number 7 is fighting change. I have literally fought my husband for 5 months to get him to start evolving and changing, because he's like, what's wrong with who I am? Nothing's wrong with who you are. This morning I told him, I was like, hey, when you leave, I would like for you to give me a kiss instead of just saying I'm out. And that came from us being mad at each other. And so instead of giving me a kiss goodbye, he's like, I'm out. And then it just has fed over to, I'm out. And I was like, I would like for you to give me a kiss goodbye instead of just saying you're out to me. What's wrong with me saying I'm out? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you saying I'm out. I'm saying what I would prefer. I prefer you actually stopping and giving me a kiss and spending some time with me before you leave. And a kiss is a form of spending time, right? And so, but the fact that he said, what's wrong with what I'm doing? We have to stop receiving someone giving you feedback about what they need, what they want, i.e. handle with care instructions. And handle with care instructions change day by day, moment to moment. What you gave me before may have been okay. The way my husband treated me taught me how to love myself. The way that my husband loved me taught me how to love myself. But now that I have evolved from that space, how he loves me is how the old Lonnie chose to receive love. The new Lonnie would like to receive love this way. And the new Lonnie would like to know how you want to be loved. The old Lonnie did not care how you wanted to be loved. The new Lonnie wants to know. And because no one in his life has ever asked him, how do you want to be loved? When I asked him, how do you want to be loved? He was like, I don't know. I was like, well, you should start thinking about it. Make sure you pick up your sister support Tumblr at LoneeTaylorArt.com. Get your merch. Yeah. Pick up your merch, your throw pillows, whatever it is you need. I have phone cases, t-shirts, and tumblers and things. Whatchamacallits? What is Ariel's song? I'm going to learn her song so I can sing it next time. But yeah, my sister has been on my radar, and I'm not quite sure why she has been on my radar. And so I had a conversation with myself, and I was just like, I don't know why she's on. I don't know if universe is saying I need to reach out to her. I don't know what universe is telling me, but I don't care. If it ain't got nothing to do with me, I don't care. And yes, that's the place that I have healing to do. But if you want to know why I don't mess with my sister, sorry. If you want to know why I don't mess with my sister, and I will never mess with my sister unless an act of God takes place. Look, I don't hold grudges. So it's not like I stand firm. It's not that I stand firm on I'm just going to beef with my sister for the rest of my life. It's not even an active beef. It's when I think about her, I'm just like, yeah, I don't fuck with her. She's not a human that I choose to associate with. When I think about the type of people that I want to surround myself with, very few of my family members are the type of people that I want to surround myself with. So why would I ever do work to heal those relationships? Because I understand in the realm of forgiveness, you know, there's an energy in unforgiveness. So you want to forgive, and that's why they say forgiveness is for you and not for them. You want to forgive because you want to get that energy up off of you. And this relates back to our conversation on Saturday where I was talking about closure. It's good when you can have that final conversation with someone, you guys can come to a space of understanding. That way you know what it is. You just want to know what it is. That's why people want closure, because they want to know what it is. And they want to stop milling it around in their head. They mill it around in their head because they don't have a conclusion. We like to tie everything up in a nice little bow. So the reasoning for forgiveness is so that we can tie that relationship up in a nice little bow. We can draw a conclusion to that relationship. So we can offer forgiveness or seek forgiveness because we are not faultless. And that should be the first step in our healing journey of forgiveness, is realizing that we stand in the need to be forgiven by others. We stand in the need for someone else to need us, or to need to receive. Okay. Someone needs to forgive me just like I need to forgive someone else. So if I want someone to forgive me, then I should forgive someone else. So if we know that we need forgiveness, why can't we give forgiveness to others? Because we want someone to forgive us. So it's treating people how we want to be treated. But when I think about the relationships within my family, I could care less about those relationships. And they could probably care less about the relationships with me. Now, that caring less is coming from a space of unhealed. I agree. But there's no value in those relationships. I think we work on forgiveness and we work on relationships because we see value. And when we no longer see value in these relationships, we stop working on them. But I think forgiveness is for us because we want to get that energy up off of us. When I used to think about my sister, I would feel something in my solar plexus or in my gut. When there's certain situations, I would think about people, I would feel something in my solar plexus or I feel it in my gut. I'd get angry. That's the energy of forgiveness. That's the energy I want to get that up off of me. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. But there's certain things, I don't stand in unforgiveness of my sister. I just don't fuck with her. I don't stand in unforgiveness of my family. I just don't mess with them. And the value that they bring to my life is so non-existent that there's no value in resolving those relationships. And so that's something that we have to take in consideration when we're forgiving. Are we not forgiving because we don't see value in the relationship? But we need to understand that forgiveness is energy, and we need to do the work necessary to at least release that energy. We don't have to be friends. We don't have to start caring about them. We don't have to start hanging out again. But just like the closure we talked about on Saturday, it's a nice piece to have to energetically release yourself from a person or a situation. So that's why forgiveness on your side, at the very least, is very important. And if you can't have a conversation like I had with my mother before she passed away, I was able to say, Mom, I forgive you. And if you're able to have it that way, beautiful. But at the very least, you need to do the work. And the work that helped me with forgiveness is there's somebody that I need to forgive me. The errors that this person made, I'm guilty of making errors too. They may not be the same errors that person made, but I've made errors too. And if I want to be allowed to be human, I must allow others to be human. And allowing others to be human, I am now allowing myself the space to forgive. And so I want to talk universal energy and signs the struggle is over. I know a lot of us have been going through the ringer, been going through the shits. And when I say going through the ringer and going through a lot of our lives are literally the bottoms are falling out. And we're like, what is going on? What is going on? And we don't know. But when we talk to other people, and that's why you're like, you need to keep people out your business. First of all, if you have surrounded yourself with friends, if you have surrounded yourself, welcome. If you have surrounded yourself with spouses, if you have surrounded yourself with people that you can't talk to intimately, you have surrounded yourself with the wrong people. The whole point in friends, the whole point in a spouse, the whole point in children is to surround yourself and provide yourself with a community so that you can grow and evolve, because the reason why we came to this earth is to grow and evolve. We cannot grow and evolve in our own heads unless we have done the work to connect to our higher self, and then our heads is the best place for us to be. And not our thinking mind, or this is our reactionary brain, but our connection to source. That's what's going to get us through this life. And it's okay to be alone in your head. But it's also okay to get the perspective from other people, so other people can help you navigate this situation. So if you surrounded yourself with people where you won't disclose what's going on in your life, you won't disclose your personal stories because you're not supposed to let anyone know you like that. You were silently suffering, and by not disclosing, you were potentially cutting yourself off from a resource. If you tell me you're going through a financial struggle, I could say, yeah, me too. And now you don't feel so alone. Because when we feel alone out here and we're struggling, we feel despair, and in that disparity, now we end up doing something dumb. But, it's our life cycle. We coming and going when we're supposed to come and go. So those who are living and left behind, we feel you did something dumb, and on the other side, you did what was supposed to be done because that was your life cycle. I don't know. I'm not going to go down that road. But what I'm going to say is if we just opened up to the people, first of all, if we were more cognizantly aware of the people we surround ourselves with, we would surround ourselves with people who can help us elevate. And that is why I'm building this community here. That is why I am out here, on here, every day, except for Sunday, running my mouth to help build a community so that we all know that we can lean on each other. So we all know that there's somebody else out there who can help, that we can all ask the questions that we've been afraid to ask because I can't be the person to ask this dumb question. There's no dumb questions. There's only people who refuse to not ask questions, which is dumb. So don't let people make you feel like there's something wrong with you just because you don't know everything. Who raised you? Me personally, the streets. So if the streets raised me, who taught me how to keep a house? Who taught me how to wash clothes? Who taught me how to do all these things? I taught myself, and if the way that I taught myself is not the way that you have learned to do it, that doesn't make what I've taught myself wrong. That just means you have a different knowledge than I have, and you should probably educate me. Don't judge me. Educate me. Teach me. Just because I'm 42 years old, I am open to learning the basics. My white stepmom taught me how to wash my body. So I didn't use washcloths for a very long time. I didn't know I was supposed to. Why? Because a white person taught me how to shower and bathe. And we all know white people don't use washcloths. So we can't sit in judgment of others when they don't know what we know, especially knowing that we came to this earth to absorb knowledge and put it back out there. That's the whole reason why our soul came to this earth. Our soul didn't come here to be ignored. Our soul didn't come here to just soak up everything and not share with anybody. No, our soul came to this earth to soak up game and disperse it. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm soaking up game through my life and I'm dispersing it. And that's why it's a classroom. And if you happen across a message, whatever I'm saying in that message while you're clicked onto it, that was for you. How can you use it? We have to stop taking people's words literally. I was listening to the bus driver on this video that I'm about to post as he was driving me to the airport. And I was listening to his words, but I was hearing his perspective. I saw his positive outlook on life. Regardless of situation, this man is a bus driver. People in America who are driving buses, we look at them as a failure. People out here who are driving, they make a lot of money though, but what's money, right? Money doesn't matter. We need it, of course, but we need to stop equating the value of a human with the amount of money they're able to bring in. How is LeBron James any more valuable than another human just because he makes this money? And I don't mean to use that man's name. I don't know nothing about the man, but I know he got a lot of money. And I know that we hold him in a high esteem because he's got a lot of money. We think he's the perfect father and the perfect husband and the perfect because he could dribble a ball well. But we don't know nothing about that man. We just know him in sound bites. And then we're out here chasing the LeBron James life when we don't even know really what that is. And then a person like me who gets on here and who's like authentically living their life and showing you the ups and downs, the good and the bad. And you guys are like, this is too much for the internet. Oh, so you want the fake stuff. Yeah, I don't do fake. Fake is the reason why I'm 42 years old trying to figure my life out. because fake raised me. Not mom, not dad, the streets, fake. People who didn't know what they were doing, that's who raised me. I didn't know myself, I raised myself. So I'm out here struggling, and so when someone's out here, I'm not struggling, I'm thriving now, but I struggled for a very long time. And it was in that struggle that God told me, I want you to start living your life purposefully. I want you to start living your life out loud. I want you to demonstrate to people how you can evolve and change your life. And I was like, okay. And so that's what I do. So with the universal energy, we're all going through things. And we're all going through some extreme, tremendous, life-changing struggles right now. Because what I believe, we are in a portal right now. We are in a manifestation portal. And you're either going to manifest more of the same, or you're going to manifest your next. And now that you have that knowledge, I hope that you're manifesting your next. And as you manifest your next, then you are able to purposefully identify where you're headed. Instead of life living you, you are living life. And as you start living that life, what's going to happen is, as you see the energy, okay, coming back, universal energy, talking about the things that, okay, yeah, so that's why you need to start talking to big people. Sorry. That's why you need to start talking to people, because when you talk to people, then you realize that you're not the only one going through. Think about it this way. You ever start driving down the street, you see a bunch of accidents. You're like, dang, why is there an accident, like more accidents than normal? That's because something's going on energetically and everybody's being affected by it. You ever walk down the street like, damn, everybody's happy? Or you ever walk down the street like, dang, everybody's happy, happy, or everybody's angry, everybody's on something at the same time. You're scrolling your timeline and you're seeing all the same stuff happening, because that's all universal energy. We're all under the same energy. And now that we have that awareness, we can choose to be of it, or we can choose not to be of it. Like if you're feeling depressed and you're just like, nothing in my life is depressive, but you start scrolling your timeline and you see everybody talking about being depressed. You start talking to your friends, you hear them start talking about being depressed. You're like, okay, this is universal energy. Some people think they go and spray into the atmosphere, and that's what's controlling us. And however you believe, I just know at the same time, we be going through the same thing emotionally. And so as we're going through things emotionally, and we know, now we can choose to rise above it. I see all these people around here depressed. So I know that this depressive energy is not my energy. Therefore, I can choose to give into it, or I can choose not to. I know everybody is angry. Everybody I ran into today is angry. I can either choose to match their energy, or I can choose to acknowledge that I've ran into one too many people that are just angry for no damn reason. So it must be something going on energetically. I'm going to rise above that. I'm going to protect my vibration. But the reason why I want to talk about universal energy, because we can identify the negatives and stay away from them, but we can also, if you are going through it like you're going through it, I want to tell you that your breakthrough is coming. And I know that your breakthrough is coming because I'm starting to see people's breakthroughs come. Thank you for the heart. I see people's breakthroughs coming. My friend, I was talking to them and they said, blah, 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 but I had an unexpected client coming up. I had a client who just came out of nowhere. I was like, boom, blessings. And that's why you celebrate other people's blessings. Boom, blessings. And then I'm scrolling my timeline, which I rarely do. But when you do things that you rarely do, when you do those things that you rarely do, that means you're doing it for a reason. That means when I went into that account and I was trying to delete all that stuff and I ran across my sister's content and I started listening to it, it was for a reason. I don't think it's because I'm supposed to reconcile with my sister. That ain't ever gonna happen unless an act of God happens. But the message that I listened to of hers, allowing your adult children to have their own lives, allowing your own adult children to have the respect of being an adult. That is something we're dealing with in our house right now. Dre is working to see Bailey as an adult. I know she just turned 18, but I'm like, at what point will she be able to have adult experiences so that we can teach her, so that we can guide her through. And so, you know, I'm scrolling my timeline, something I rarely do, but Just J, if you don't follow Just J, check her out. She's dope, positive energy, dancing it out over there, living off the earth, like for real, in a van in New Mexico, getting it in. Check her out. But Just J is talking about how her son just got the dream job, an apprenticeship that's a paid apprenticeship, and he needs certain things to get it done. And, it's all going to happen. But she was saying at the end of this apprenticeship, it's going to be financially a game changer. And when you think about it being a financial game changer, and you look at Just J's journey, Just J is literally moved from Chicago. There you go, C Bizzle. Moved from Chicago to New Mexico, bought a plot of land. I don't know if at any point they had shelter, but now they're living in their van. And everything that comes with living in your van. Figuring out how to, it's just crazy. I was like, this is literally an episode of Survivor, watching her life and how she's pulling this shit off like a G. But to hear her talk about how the break has come, and the break didn't just come with, oh, he got a job and he got a $2 raise. No, her son has gotten a job, and it's her and her son. That's why I say her son. Her son has gotten a job that is going to change their life. It's going to change their trajectory. So when I see that, I see breakthroughs. I see breakthroughs coming from here. I see breakthroughs coming from here. And if I know anything about universal energy, if we're all in the shits together, damn it, we're all about to catch these breakthroughs together. So that's why you celebrate other people's blessings. Because if they're having their breakthroughs, damn it, your breakthrough is not too far behind. So I am so excited. And I've been telling my clients, not my clients, I just read client on my board. I've been telling my family, I was like, are you guys ready? Because the storm is about to be over. The storm is about to be over. And the way it's about to hit in a way that we've never seen before. Are you ready? And I don't know if I'm ready. I'm getting ready. I know life is teaching me a lot of lessons. Life is teaching me, to protect my energy. Life is teaching me, I got the occasional trolls in my comments. Life is teaching me by watching other people on live, how they expertly ignore them. I was like, boom. You ask God to be able to ignore these people and to fly above people saying stuff that offends you. And now universe is offering you that opportunity and you react to it. Well, universe is like, well, I can't help you, sis, but you need to get this help while you only have one person on your live. Get this help while your audience is like this, because as your audience grows, if you do not figure out how to manage yourself and manage your reactions to people, you're going to struggle. And you don't want to struggle. And I'm giving you the classroom now. And that's why I was talking about my daughter earlier working at the barber shop and all her friends and all the things that she's dealing with. I was like, Bailey, you're going to come to a point in your life where you're going to have so many friends, you're not going to know what to do with it, but you're going to have to discern who is a friend and who is a hanger-on. And being able to discern who is a friend and discern who's a hanger-on is going to be your success and your failure as you go through life and you figure out who to surround yourself with. So we can't take our current situations for granted, especially if they're trying, especially if we're struggling. If we are in a struggle, it's because there are some skills that we need to learn within that struggle. It's not for us to sit there and be like, okay, I'm struggling and I'm waiting for the struggle to end and break. No, while me and my family are going through the space that we're going through, and I tell you, I have been deriving so much meaning, I'm to the point where I'm like, okay, God, I got this, and this. Can I get released yet? No? Okay. I got this, and this. Can I get released yet? No. I'm to the point I'm looking at my husband. I'm like, are you the one that's keeping us tethered to this life? Like, what the hell? I'm trying to get up out of this, and I'm trying to derive as much meaning as I can, and I'm trying to utilize and implement whatever I'm learning so we can get out of this space. But I feel the storm is over. Storm is over now. So give grace, give thanks, give gratitude because it's over. Speaking with knowledge and confidence. Actually, I only have 4 more minutes on my live. I thank you all for joining. Make sure you pick up your Lonee Taylor Art merch at LoneeTaylorArt.com. If you've been blessed by the live, please consider putting a tip in the tip jar. If anyone in the comments, you guys have connected, follow each other. Make sure you follow me and join the community. And I am here Monday through Saturday, 12 p.m. California time. And I'm just talking, and we'll join in the comment section. I can answer questions. Sometimes I just talk. I got a big bulletin board right there. I got a big bulletin board full of topics, that if the conversation lags, if you want to hop on the live with me, send a DM and we can make that happen. I had a wonderful conversation with Casper today. It was filling. It was nice to connect with one of our community members and, see where her head's at. There's not often times that we get an opportunity to talk to people that interest us. But when we do get an opportunity to talk to people that interest us, we should be free to ask the questions that satisfy our curiosity. That's why something interests us, because we're curious about it. But if we can never ask questions to satisfy our curiosity because we seem ignorant by asking that question, I'm sure there's some people who are like, oh, I can't believe you asked that question, but I bet you were curious, weren't you? I'm the person who's brave enough to ask the question, but I'm also the person who's going to give the disclaimer up front, like, hey, I apologize if I offend you. I don't mean to. And that's something that I talk about all the time. Stop looking to be offended. When my stepchildren were having that conversation and they kept bumping up against each other, and I was just kind of acting as the mediator, the unofficial mediator, without stepping on any toes, because I don't know where I stand with them. And I asked him, I was like, hey, I would like to get to know where I stand with you guys. And, Ezra was open to having a conversation with me. I was like, look, E, if you got to cuss me out, cuss me out. Let me know. If we want to move forward as a family, we cannot build our family bonds on a shaky, broken foundation, which means we must have those air-clearing conversations in order to move forward. The problem that we're doing in our relationships, and that's why they fall apart, the problem that we're doing with our friendships, and that's why they fall apart. The problem that we're doing with our children, and that's why as soon as they could get away from us, they're gone. The thing that we're doing is we're trying to build relationships on shaky foundation. And the foundation is shaky because we haven't had those uncomfortable conversations. But those uncomfortable conversations, they may hurt in the moment. But after the moment, you're healed. You're able to move forward. You're able to respect each other. And you're even able to say, hey, I don't fuck with you. And you're able to receive it. So we need to have those conversations within our family. And when we teach ourselves, or if we teach our children to have those conversations within our family, then when our children are adults, they know how to have those conversations. When someone's like, I need closure, you're like, cool, let's go. Let's have this conversation real quick. I could give you one last conversation. So even if that conversation is, I decided I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And because our children are used to having these conversations, like openings, beginnings, and endings. Just because our kids are used to having beginnings and endings, now when someone ends something, they don't act irrationally. They don't lose their shit and they don't go do crazy stuff because they're used to endings. They're used to beginnings. So we have to understand, when we are not giving our children these opportunities, we are creating adults that are out here doing crazy just because somebody broke up with them. We have to understand that our kids are out here, thinking and doing crazy stuff to themselves because somebody is not going to be their friend anymore. They're becoming stalkers. They're doing all of these things. Why? Because they don't know how to deal with loss. Why? Because you never taught them how to deal with loss. So we'll get in it tomorrow. I've enjoyed you all. I will be back tomorrow, 12 p.m. California time or 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hope to see you again. Feel compelled to pick up your Lonee Taylor art merch. This is one of my shirts. Use your mouth for good. Use your mouth for good. Speak life. Because we use our mouth to gossip. We use our mouth to judge. We use our mouth to do all kinds of things. Sip tea. Out of our LoneeTaylorArt.com sister support Tumblr. We use our mouths to do all kinds of things. But if we use our mouth for good, and we speak life, and we uplift as often as we can, then we're uplifting ourselves. Pick up your throw pillows. I've got it all. Check it out. I could see the number of traffic to my website, and I see I have thousands and millions of views on my videos, but only 100 people have been to my website. So y'all ain't even giving me a chance. But y'all on Amazon. Give my small business a chance. You might find something you like. So I appreciate you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.